Hello, my name is Alan, and today, this evening, I suppose in my time at least, I'm facilitating a session of Hit the Nazi, Retrieve the Ark. This is my reskin of Rich Rogers' Hit the Street, Defend the Block, his street level supers game, reskinned and slightly tweaked for playing pulp heroes in the 1930s. This game has been organised as part of Gauntlet Community Open Gaming Weekend. If you don't know about the Gauntlet community, then please search Gauntlet-RPG and you will find our community. This is a community of worldwide that play online games together, mostly at the indie narrative end of the spectrum, but not always. Someone is currently running a series of the new Dune RPG. And the Gauntlet has a monthly calendar with 100 and some odd games every month. So, you know, if you want to play online with what we like to think is very positive table culture, do please come and look us up. If you are sufficiently impressed with us, then there is a Patreon that helps support some of our activities around the Codex magazine, around our podcasts, around our publishing arm. So yeah, if you want to know more, search Gauntlet-RPG. Okay, so the concept of this game, and I will read this straight off my sheet. So this is a game about pulp heroes stopping nefarious agents of the Third Reich in their tracks. It's 1935, Prohibition in the US ended a couple of years ago, while Hitler has consolidated his grip on Germany. As part of his intention to create a 1,000-year Reich, he has dispatched agents to all corners of the world in search of artifacts to harness the arcane and give the Nazi Party power over the fate of the world. This is, as I say, a light hack of a street-level supers game. Do try that game if you're not familiar with it. It's got a unique neighborhood building system. I've taken that and I change it into an episode building that we'll collaborate around the co-location of locations and plots around how our pulp heroes will confront the enemies of democracy. This game always begins in that shining beacon of the free world, New Gauntlet City, which is a shared setting where a number of us on the Gauntlet run superhero and similar sessions. The aim of this session is that we'll begin in media res in New Gauntlet City and discover who's doing what to whom and why in play. I expect to be able to get that episode and another episode done in the 4 hours that we have together as a group tonight in this one shot. I've not yet managed to get a full third one in, but you never know your luck. We'll collaborate to agree what's going wrong in some other location based on what we find in the first one. The tone, now, you know, we have Nazis and the occult in play, but the tone of the game is distinctly 15 plus rather than 18 plus. Obvious media touchstones are Indiana Jones and any kind of weekly serial from the 30s and 40s, I guess. It's unlikely that gruesome or adult themes will be explored in this session, but just in case, we'll make sure we have a shared understanding of the kind of play we're aiming for by using a set of safety tools. So, and for the benefit of the players here, I've only played with one of them before. The principal safety tool we'll be using is the X card. The X card is a way to stop the game. If we come across some stuff that's making anyone uncomfortable in an uncomfortable way, then the X card is there to be played, folks. Now, you know, I've had the X card played when I've introduced an NPC who I've given a name off the top of my head, who happens to be someone that matters to a player, and they're just a little bit uncomfortable with the things that NPC is doing because they're identifying that with the friend they have. Anything from that right the way up to, you know, anything that makes you uncomfortable. Yeah. And feel free to play the X card when you think we are beginning to go in an uncomfortable direction. The easiest way to play the X card in this environment for me is to make the X where I'll see it. The alternative is to type X card in the chat, in the Zoom chat. I'll be honest with you, I tend to be looking at the pictures of the players when I'm running games rather than the chat. If somebody else notices the X card has cropped up in the chat, please do draw my attention to it. I'll stop the narrative wherever we are. I won't ask why you've played the X card, or what you might specifically what's led you to play the X card, but I will ask you how far back you want me to rewind the fiction, so I can play forward and then avoid anything that was uncomfortable. We're also playing with an open table. The open table means that if something goes on away from the game, then don't think twice. If you've got to go and deal with something in the real world, go deal with it. Yeah. But I suppose more importantly, the open door is there. If something comes up and you feel that bit of bleed from the game, you feel a bit uncomfortable with the way things have gone, and you need just a breather, then you don't have to explain. Just step away from the table, turn your camera off. It's good if you can put in the chat, I'm going to take a 5-minute, a 10-minute walk. That's but not essential. If you go, we'll hope you'll come back, but if you don't, that's fine. And the other use for the open door, folks, is that if this turns out not to be the game that you thought it was going to be, and you're not, you're just not enjoying it, for goodness sake, don't feel chained to the table for the next 3.5 hours. Yeah, life's too important to waste your time doing something you're not enjoying. So if this turns out not to be the game, the open door is there for you use. No, it's not a problem. It's there to be used. Hopefully, to avoid the need of the X card, and hopefully to get the tone of the game right, we'll also be playing with lines and veils. Lines are those things that won't appear in the fiction. And I've pointed out to the players that there is a lines and veils tab, and I will check in when all of this blurb is finished and we've introduced the players and their characters, just to make sure that we're all on the same page in terms of what's in and what's out. Veils are things that could crop up in the narrative, but if they do, we'll be drawing a discrete veil. We won't see them on screen. We'll just know that they've gone on. And finally, we'll be playing within the Gauntlet Code of Conduct. Now, it's quite a long document, and I don't expect players in a one shot to have read it, but I'd summarize it as be respectful to everyone around the table. And if I'm kind of pulling stuff out of that, there's an obvious thing that I've just realized it's so obvious I haven't put it in my kind of crib sheet here. But I've asked everyone to identify the pronouns they prefer to use. I'll also ask them to do that for their characters. And, politeness, use the pronouns, please. But what it means, I suppose, in practice is, don't talk over others. Don't insert your character into a scene that someone else has set up unless they invite you in. Don't interrupt others or offer them advice unless it's requested. And folks, this is a game in which I will come to you and say, tell me about so-and-so. Feel free to defer that back to me or to defer it to the table. It is not intended to put you under a particular microscope or pressure to come up with a really snappy answer, just like that. Help share the spotlight around the table by not hogging it. I will try to keep the spotlight moving. And where a scene has run its course or I think it's becoming repetitive and I step in to just say, okay, we're going to move on now, please be supportive of that. What I'm trying to do is keep the pace going. So that's my CATS document: concept, aims, tone, subject matter, and safety tools. Lines and veils, players keep adding stuff to that if you want it. But for now, that's me done. Let me go to the character keeper and say, starting on the left-hand side, so Jonah, Joe, Gareth, Rod. Jonah, say hello, tell us your pronouns, and say hello.
Hello, I am Jonah, and I am he, him, and I am happy to be here.
Glad to have you here. Joe.
Hey, everybody. I'm Joe. My pronouns are he, him. I am also happy to be here.
No pressure on the other two. That is not a required thing, okay? That is not in the code of conduct. Gareth.
Yeah, hi. I'm Gareth. My pronouns are he, him. And yeah, it's my first Gauntlet game, so excited to get going.
Great. And last but not least, Rod.
Hi, I'm Rod. I'm he, him, and this is also my first time, and I'm a little bit terrified to be here.
Oh goodness me! Well, we will hope to diffuse any of that at all. Let me go back round and just ask you to briefly tell me something, or tell our thousands of viewers about your character. So, Jonah, tell us about Marvin Roy. Tell us about his pronouns and something about him.
Well, Marvin Roy is a high school teacher here in New Gauntlet City. He was Teacher of the Year 2 years ago, and he makes sure everybody knows about that. He is a he, him, and he will go above and beyond for the kids because the children are the future.
Wonderful. Does he have a view of when people stop being kids? Or does he treat everyone like they are kids?
Well, once they're out of high school, then they're out of his hands. So he has to do everything for them that he can because, the world's a rough place.
It certainly is. And you've chosen as your pulp archetype the friend. You are all heart. That's very clear. Now the academic background is this to a kind of degree level, or did you continue your study before going back to teaching?
Well, life is study. So he approaches life as though everything is academic and everything should be analyzed. So degrees, at this point, they're not really as important as just the way you approach life.
So an autodidact who knows lots about everything, conceivably.
I hope.
Fine, I like that. Fine. Let's move on. Joe, tell us about Alan Chancellor Chance.
Hey, everybody. This is Alan Lachance, or as everybody here in New Gauntlet City calls me, Chance, because apparently nobody here has heard of a French accent. Alan is from Quebec City, Quebec. He came to New Gauntlet City a little while ago. Again, he tells everybody he's from Paris because nobody knows where Quebec is. And he has been making his living here as a gumshoe. He has been a private investigator. And he spent a lot of time when he's not like trying to track down missing husbands or missing dogs. He's usually trying to dig up information.
Sorry to interrupt you. Yeah. I have to use the open door. My wife has just come to the door, okay, and she never comes to this door unless there's a reason. So just bear with a moment.
Absolutely.
This is frozen for about 7 o'clock, and it's really warm. So I wondered if we could take something out to stop it. Nothing works, it's frozen.
Hey guys, I'll be right back.
Okay.
Okay, emergency over. Sorry about that.
Oh, no problem.
Born in Quebec, and But they never get that right.
They never get that right. No.
Sorry, Joe. Go ahead.
No problem. When he is not tracking down lost husbands or lost pets, he is trying to gather information on the growing presence of Nazi sympathizers and Nazi agents here in the U.S.
Fine. And so he is the hustler, is his archetype, and he is a so yeah, he makes a living presumably as a PI.
He does,
Yeah?
absolutely.
Okay. And is it mostly errant husbands?
Yeah, a lot of it is rather uninspiring work. It's nowhere near as romantic as the dime novels might tell you.
Okay. Gareth, introduce us to Pete Baker.
Okay, I'll try. I haven't formed that much about him yet, but I'll give it a go. So yeah, Pete Baker, also known as Bake, is a daredevil air ace. So he's a pilot in, I guess, the US Air Force, if that exists prior to World War II. I don't really know, but whatever US military Air Force thing there is, he's a member of that. And I kind of imagine him to be like quite a hot shot. So he's kind of like, he considers himself anyway. He would consider himself to be the best pilot there is, right?
Well, I mean, he is an air ace.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's got to be right. So I think it's probably quite confident. Whether that's justified or not, I don't know.
I mean, how old do you pitch him? Because I'm just trying to think. We're about, 15, 17 years after the First World War.
Yeah, so I feel like he's probably too young to have seen the war, so he doesn't understand what it's about, right? So he's quite naive in that respect. So I think he wants to go and get the Nazis or whatever, but he doesn't really understand what that means.
I'm with you. And the I can't even say the phrase, the air ace. He clearly has a plane.
Yeah. So I think
what's special about the plane?
What's
you got
special?
Any ideas for that? Because I'm just, I'm thinking that it ought to be out of the ordinary, and I'm just curious if you've thought about anything.
I haven't thought about it. No, it's interesting.
Well, look,
could it be like there's nothing objectively special about it, but to him it obviously is the best aeroplane?
Oh, of course it is. Well, all I'm saying to you that in play, if you want it to have gimmicks, you could always make a roll with your tools to have designed in X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe it can turn really tightly. Maybe it can put a bit extra into it and yaw it round and yeah.
And I'm not even going to ask you to specify whether it'll take passengers yet, because you might want to leave that until we know where episode 2 is going to take place.
Yeah, just in case. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Cool.
Okay, Rod, tell us something about Professor Caspar Bodenstein.
Yes.
Sounds like a professor, I have to tell you.
Yes, he's a professor. He's currently unemployed, but he's applied to all the higher institutes of learning. He is very young looking. He is young, maybe mid-20s, but he can pass for much younger.
I'm curious, if I may say, how someone with presumably some qualifications ends up as a hypnotist.
Well, that's what he studied, and that's also the reason why he's finding it hard to get a job. Not an accepted line of he studied alternative, I guess, medicine and specialized in mesmerism, which he distinguishes from hypnotism, because he's more interested in using it as a healing tool rather than controlling people's minds.
And so does he never use it to control people's minds, or under pressure might his principles buckle?
I think under pressure he will do what's best for everyone. But yeah, he kind of looks down on it in a way. But
I'm curious. He's learned this as a skill. Does he thinks it's just a skill? He doesn't think it's magic.
Oh no, yeah, he's more of a man of science. Well, but he knows, he acknowledges that there are things science cannot explain. So he does have room for the occult and
Okay, because I just wonder whether he's particularly good at it because dot dot dot.
oh,
Just wondering. We'll leave that one on the shelf. So these are our 4 characters then. The thing we need to do before we do anything else is just to work out your starting spark. So I'm going to go back round first to Marvin Roy, and I will now begin to shift to talking to you as your character rather than you as the person. So Marvin, start with 6 plus 1d6. So do you want to highlight one of the dice in the dice room and re-roll it, and then you can adjust your spark using that drop-down box?
Looks like I got a 1.
Well, that's not a great place to start, but it's only up from here, Marvin. So that means that you have 7 sparks. So if you hit the spark drop down, you should be able to select 7. Let's move along to Chance. Chance, d6 plus 6.
Oh, got a 6.
12. And then what about our air ace, Bake?
A 1.
Oh. He needs a lot of self-confidence, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So that's 7. And finally, Prof. Does he get really upset if people call him Prof?
I don't think he would mind. I don't.
Okay, Prof. So highlight a d6 and hit that reroll button. Oh, middle of the road, that's a 9. Okay. And remember, you can spend this anytime you like to add dice to your dice pool. Okay. So here we have our characters then. To be honest, folks, you are unlikely to earn enough experience for it to make a difference in a one-shot. But can we go and look at the episodes tab, please? And episode 1, we're going to start this in a moment. And it's what's at the center of this episode? I'll keep going around in that order. No, I won't. No, I think I'll point this because I'm curious. It seems to me, Chance, you are going to have your nose closer to what's going on in Gauntlet City than some of the others. So there's a drop-down box there of what you need to achieve in this episode. Do you have a preference? They're written deliberately vaguely.
This happens. Someone's in danger. Something is in danger. Someone's get something. Something must get somewhere. Saying sure nothing happens on the way. Yes. Something must get somewhere safely. Ensure nothing untoward happens on the way.
Okay. Make
how
that
much
selection.
Input? Yeah. How much input do you
I'll
want
come
me
back round to flesh it out. So something must get somewhere safely, ensure nothing untoward happens on the way. Now, I'm going to assume that you 4 know each other, trust one another. You know that you're on the side of the angels. We know that the principal location is New Gauntlet City. This is a temperate location, mostly flat ground hereabouts on the coast. Unknowing dupes are going to be manipulated by someone. We'll discover who shortly, conceivably. But let me now go. So tell us about a place you want to be part of the narrative. Yeah, I'm curious. Prof, is there a particular kind of place that you would like to crop up in this episode? Could be anything, Delhi, university.
Maybe like could there be like a small circus that's in the city?
A circus is never a bad choice. Nazi clowns. I mean, it's a no-brainer, isn't it? Okay, would you type circus in that slot on the character queue, please? And then let me go next to Bake. Tell us about someone you want to be in the narrative. Now, just these NPCs, they could be good, they could be bad. I'm playing into the Indiana Jones trope here, which is invariably someone that he thinks is a good guy turns out to be a bad guy, or vice versa. So once you identify someone in this, if you fraternize with them, they will become a villain. But so this is your NPC cast. So Bake, is there a particular kind of person you want to get involved in this episode?
I guess doesn't need to be related to the circus. That's sort of now all I can think about is circus people. So
well, I mean, it could be. I mean, make it a ringmaster, make it the chief clown. I don't mind.
Yeah, weird. Yeah. Okay. Maybe the strong man. Yeah.
Fine. So write circus strongman into that slot, and then let me go to Marvin and say, Marvin, is there somebody else that you want to see involved in this episode?
Well, my mom just got back from a tour of Europe, and she's been acting pretty odd, and wanting, I don't know, to spend some more time with me just around town. So I keep telling her I will, but I don't know. Maybe. Looks like a pretty busy week, though. Maybe I will. I don't know.
Okay, so Marvin's mother is the other NPC that is going to be part of this. So in media res, then, Chance, who needs to get somewhere, and how is it connected to the circus?
So one of the people, the handoff is going to be at the circus for sure. Now, I actually chose something needs to get somewhere. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Something must get somewhere safely. We know that Nazis are traveling the world trying to get their hands on magical artifacts.
Not that Professor Bodenstein would have anything to do with that definition.
Right, exactly.
That's what they say, but then they're Nazis.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, not exactly the clearest thinking people. But yeah, a cult, some kind of occult related object. So they have, there's an artifact that needs to get handed off to the Gauntlet City Museum, where it'll be kept safely under lock and key. But they're trying to do it very, very discreetly because they know people are searching for it.
Okay, so just so I'm clear, are the Nazis trying to get it into the museum or out of the museum?
The Nazis are trying to get it before it gets to the museum.
I see. Okay. Okay, so we have some item being transported to the museum, and the Nazis are going to intervene. Okay, I'm with that. I am going to ask the professor because nobody else thinks that you don't know about magic. So they all assume that a mesmerist knows about magic. So do you want to tell me anything you like about this artifact? Either what it does or what it looks like. I don't mind.
Sure. It's a candelabra. It's one central large candle and going in 4 different directions, arms that lead to other candles. And the mythology behind it is that there is it's a map of some sort that leads to something.
A map to somewhere or something?
A map to somewhere, yeah.
Okay. Marvin, the circus is a fine opportunity to spend some time with your mother, I would have thought. I mean, she's been bothering you repeatedly. And so I think that probably I am going to place you and your mother at the circus. Yeah? Bake, I'm just curious. When Chance comes to you and says, I'm worried there's a plot to steal this candelabra, what's your reaction?
Okay. So I think he's just really eager. He's excited to he's got the opportunity to prove himself and get stuck in. So yeah, he's like, let's go. Show me, point me in a direction, and I'm going.
Enough said. Enough said. So what I think I'm going to do is I think that I'm going to put Bake at the wheel of what vehicle do you want to be driving, Bake, at this point? It's not an airplane.
No, I think it's
you
like
can make it go.
I think it's like an army truck. It's like got a canvas back to it. It's like,
Okay. And how are you going to try to throw the Nazis off the trail?
I think just like taking a turning late, skidding, kind of just changing direction rapidly. Basically being incredibly reckless and daredevil about it.
Absolutely. Seems to me, because I think probably that Chance has got his eyes about him, and he's noticing, because I see the three of you driving, Bake, you in the middle, Prof, and you, Chance, in the kind of far passenger seat, kind of looking in the side mirror, and you can see that there's a couple of cars that have been following you now for quite some time. I tell you what, I think, Prof, I'm going to put you in the back of the truck with the candelabra in its kind of crate. Not a huge crate, but a quite small, but it's a crate. And I think that that you have to go through Central Park to get to the museum, Bake. I don't know if you can drive through Central Park, but in New Gauntlet City Central Park, there are a number of routes across
Awesome.
from where you've picked this up to where you need to get it. And I think that let's start with Bake trying to throw this tail off. There are two of them. I think this is quite a challenge. I think I'm going to look for 4 successes. Yeah. So 4 of these dice are going to need to be 4, 5, or 6. Let's construct your dice pool. You get 2 because you're going to be taking action. You said you do this by sharp turns and spinning round down alleys, all kinds of daredevil-y things. So you get another dice for that. You are using a tool, so you get another 2 for that. So I think that's 5 dice. I don't think I'm going to give you air ace on this occasion because it seems to me that it's not an aeroplane yet.
I am not in the air, so yeah.
So you got 5 dice. I'm looking for 4 successes.
Okay.
Do you want to spend any spark to increase the chance of success? I tell you what, I'm not going to be that hard. I'm looking for 3 successes. It's early.
Okay, 3 successes. Okay, I will spend 1 spark to give me 6 dice, and that feels like that puts the odds sort of pretty good.
That's 50-50.
Let's go with that.
Okay, so then highlight 6 dice, and we will all watch with interest as they spin.
Yep. There we go.
Okay. Oh, look at that. 3
Got it.
sixes. Yes. So 3 successes, and you've lost them.
Awesome.
But you are now coming into Central Park. You find yourself, you thought this would be a kind of back way through Gauntlet City's park. I'm trying to remember what New Gauntlet City's park is called. I think it's Boyle Park. So you're crossing Boyle Park. And you thought this was a through road, but it's the circus, and it's thronged with people. And Marvin, what do you do when this truck barrels out onto the fields, down this track in the park, towards all these people?
Well, geez. They have to, whoever's driving that truck needs to be more careful. These people have to get out of the way. I think, hey, everybody, watch out. There's a big old Liberty truck coming our way. Everybody, oh, I wonder if this is a military. Everybody, watch out. There might be a military action happening or something. Come on, Mom, let's just step to the side here.
Okay, now this is clearly doing a friendly thing. Yeah. So there's undoubtedly 1 dice for your archetype. There's 2 dice for taking action. There's 3 dice for you, that big-hearted teacher that you are, trying to get people sorted out. That's 6 dice. I'm struggling to see academic play a part here. And again, I'm looking for 3 successes to just clear the path.
Out of 6.
With 6 dice to roll. Do you want to spend any spark?
No, I think if you're driving a Liberty truck, you're probably pretty alert, so you're not going to just run into pedestrians. I don't need to.
That's what you would think. I mean, only a daredevil would take that kind of risk. Oh, wow. So 4 successes, but 2 oofs. The 2 ones cost you 2 spark, as well as the one you spent to sorry, you didn't spend any spark. That's so 2 spark that costs you. How do you get kind of drawn into this? What do those oofs look like as kind of disadvantages to you?
Well, I mean, I think this truck was headed a little close to where the monkeys were. And there are these little kids that were standing around not paying any attention, because if there's monkeys, you're not going to be looking at the truck. So I had to run, I'll tell you, faster than I wanted to run. And I'm kind of out of breath at this point, but I got those kids out of the way.
Yeah, and because it's 2 oofs, unfortunately, the side mirror on the driver's side catches the back of your coat. You are whisked up onto the front hubcap of the truck. Mother left. Marvin, where are you going?
Just wait here, Mom. I'll be back.
Now, Bake, you know Marvin. Marvin knows you. And I guess there's that moment when Marvin turns and looks, and there's the 3, you and Chance in the front seat. And maybe, Prof has parted the tarpaulin. And he's, just, was that a bump I heard? Prof, what's your reaction to having scooped Marvin up like this?
Oh, hi, Marvin. I didn't know you were joining us.
Love it. Love it. Marvin, you are rather precariously placed. The side mirror just caught your coat and dragged you up onto this thing. And now you're kind of on the bonnet practically. What are you going to do?
Is this the passenger side or the driver's side?
It's the driver's side. So you're actually in Bake's way.
Well, I don't want to be in the way. I'll kind of, I mean, this is not where I wanted to be right now, but I think I can maybe inch back a little bit to sort of shimmy back out of the way. I don't want to interrupt the view.
Or you could make your way to the other side.
Oh, gosh, that sounds dangerous. I guess I can.
Now, I guess that this is agility that we're talking about here. The final rule is that somebody else can spend spark to give you dice if they can narrate a way in which they could help. Yeah, so I'll just bear that in mind. So I think this again is going to be a 3 difficulty. So I'm looking for 3 successes from Marvin to try to extricate himself from this and get onto a running board. A running board on either side of this truck would be a lot safer than where you currently are. So this is going to be around your feet attribute, which isn't bad, actually. So you're taking action for 2. You're using your feet, which is another 2. I'm struggling to see how friendship plays a part here. If you were helping, it might, but I'm not sure that it works the other way around.
I mean, I'm putting myself in danger because I just got to get out of the way. I can't help. I can't be in the way of other people trying to do their job.
Absolutely.
I don't know.
Absolutely. I will give you the 5th dice. So 5 dice is 3 successes. Do you want to spend any spark, or is there any way you can help?
Yes. I'm actually going to open the door on my side and step on the running board and lean out and say, Monsieur Roy, come over the hood. I'll catch you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
How much spark do you want to spend, Chance?
I think 1.
Oh, right. So not a lot of help. So that's 6 dice. Marvin looking for 3 successes. Let's see how that goes. Oh, well, let me just, before I ask you to roll the dice, Prof, is there anything you think you can do at this point to help?
I will put my hand on the steering wheel and just kind of give it a nudge so that there's momentum for Marvin to roll over.
Would you like to therefore spend a point of spark to give Marvin a 7th dice?
Sure. Yes.
Bake, I'm nervous to ask because you don't have the most spark in the world, but is there anything you can do as the driver that you would want to do to help? No, I didn't.
I'm going to
think so.
save it. I'm going to save my spark.
Okay.
I think everyone's got it covered. I think we're okay.
Yeah, I mean 7 dice, 3 successes. Poof. So highlight your 7 dice. Let's look for 3 successes. Oh. So that alas, Marvin. So what does that look like? You know, what is that? It's a failure, but it's not an oof. So you're no worse off. You're still in the same position. But what does this look like on screen when we see this?
Well, I start to lean out over the hood and reach out for Chance's hand. And then the whole truck just kind of shifts and shimmies. And I'm kind of stuck right on the hood. I think maybe Chance sort of bounced back. And right now I'm blocking most of the windshield. And this is not where I want it to be.
Yeah, I think one hand on either side of the windshield, staring at our heroes inside. Bake, are you going to keep going or are you going to stop?
Wow, can I see the people behind us?
Oh, well, you lost them when you turned down here.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, they're probably attracted by the screaming of the crowd, but you know.
Yeah. I think we've got. Yeah. I'm not actually. I think Gareth would, but I don't think Bake would. I think he's going to keep going because this is all adding to the daredevil nature of the escapade. So yeah,
the general excitement level has really taken a hike.
Yeah, so he's shouting at Martin to get out of the way and just carrying on. If anything, going quicker.
Prof, what do you do when a large man jumps at the back of the truck and begins to clamber in?
I stand up and hit my head on the roof. Sit back down and I just start saying, Bake, there's a man here.
Bake, I guess, is busy driving.
Chance. Yeah, what man? Push him out.
I will push and unmove.
Okay, so Prof, you take a run at him, aiming to push him straight back out the back of the van, back of the truck. This though is the circus strongman. Just, you know, it becomes apparent once he gets fully in. And of course, because we're taking Indiana Jones as a model here, he is a large bald man. So this is using your hands, Prof. But I notice you're quite handy.
Yeah. Can I just say I fail? And this is just a comic moment.
Well, I mean, surely you. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I'm very happy to have you push it and kind of go boom, as he just braces. So no, I think that's great. Go with that. What are your Chance? Do you do anything when you hear Casper say, "There's somebody getting in the back of the truck"?
Professor, this hardly seems the time. I say, as I'm still trying to rescue Marvin from the front of the truck.
Indeed not. You know, Marvin's still hanging on for grim death. I think at one point we slew one way, we see you, and you catch the sight of your mother just across the way before Bate kind of straightens it up. So it doesn't look like anybody in the front's going to help, Prof. So, you know, you go to push him and it's like pushing a part of the truck. What do you do?
I'm going to try to see from his demeanor and any actions he takes if he's here for a hostile reason or not.
Oh yeah, I think once he swings at you, it becomes apparent that his intentions are not honourable. And I think you push him, and you know, you expect him to just topple out the back, and it's kind of, and he just throws you to the front of the truck. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you one oof. So reduce your spark by one. And let's cut back to the front. Marvin, you're hanging on for grim death. You know, we can see the look on your face as you're looking at Bake, kind of saying, "Stop the truck." But Bake is just, he's smiling. He's, you know, those monkeys, they're now out of the cage. You know, there are two on the top of the truck. You know, people think it's part of the circus, I think, because people are now beginning to applaud as it, you know, makes its way through this chaos.
Well, first of all, I just have to get out of the way and make sure that Bake can see. So even though this is not a very comfortable situation, I just kind of have to at least move my shoulder a little bit so he has a little more visibility out of the windshield.
It seems to me there are two obvious options here. One is you get your legs up underneath you and you kind of stand up, you know, in the middle of the truck so you can see under your arm. Or you allow yourself to gently slide back until your feet are on the bumper and you're hanging onto the headlamps. Which of those seems the most obvious approach?
Well, I think standing in a moving vehicle is not advised. So I think I would rather slide just a little bit, just a little bit at a time. Maybe there's a hood ornament that I could put my foot on and like slide back and get a grip onto.
I think
I'll wave
obvious.
at the crowd because they seem to be enjoying themselves, and we want to make sure everyone's enjoying themselves.
Of course we do, which instantly I think puts friend in the frame. So I'll give you friend, 2 for take action. This is agility, so it's your 2 for feet. So that's 5 dice. Again, I'm struggling to see, unless you want to put some academic spin on this.
Well, I know not to stand up in a moving vehicle because I've read many reasons why that can go poorly.
Keep your center of gravity low. Include 2d6 for your academic insight. So you're at 7 dice. This is a little tricky. So I'm going to require 4 successes with these 7 dice.
All right. Well, I did substitute for the physical education teacher once. And I did not learn very much. I was not good at that class.
Would you like to burn any spark to get above 7 dice?
Yeah, I think I have to.
I'd like to try again. Different than another spark.
No reason not to try again, Chance. You've got more to burn.
I'm going to lean out the window. Mr. Roy, move your left. I'm going to stop trying to do the accent. Move your left foot a little to the left. Yes, that's it. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that works. So how many do you want to spend, Chance?
Well, I hear that at some point they'll come back. So let's spend 1 for now.
Okay, so that's 7 plus 1 for you and 1 for Chance. That's 9 dice. And I'm only looking for 4 successes.
All right, here we go.
1, 2, 3 successes. Still, nearly got there. But alas not. Your foot did encounter the hood ornament, and your feet are both on the hubcaps, but you lost a grip on the side of the hood, and now you're hanging on to the hood ornament.
Well, these are well made. I'll be okay, and we'll probably slow down soon.
A solid truck. This there is 1 oof in that set of dice, I'm afraid, Marvin. So it's going to cost you another spark, because I think what we see is the hood ornament, of course, begins to bend. That's the oof. Prof, the strong man seems to be prepared to ignore you now that he's just thrown you out of the way, and he's aiming for the crate with the candelabra in it.
So I will jump and sit on top of the crate, and I will try to mesmerize him.
I hate myself for tempting you to do that, but I'm glad you did. So this is certainly, I think, you are using your qualification, your skill at mesmerism. So that's a 1. I think you're taking action. That's another 2. This is I mean, it's an interesting one. This, I think we count it as a head thing. Yeah, because it is about, so that's another 3. So that's 6 dice already. 2 more for mesmerism. That's 8 dice. I'm looking for 4 successes. Do you want to throw any spark at this?
I will throw in 1 spark.
Fine. So I think that's 9 dice looking for 4 successes, I think.
And I'm going to throw in 2 spark.
10 dice looking for 4 successes.
All right. So 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Well, that's nearly all of them.
Okay. Screen not cooperating. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go.
Oh, will you look at that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 successes, but 2 oofs.
Oh, three oofs.
3.
Oh, 3. Oh, yeah, 3 oofs. Okay, so that's going to cost you 3 spark, Prof.
All right.
But what does this look like? What do we see on screen that shows the mesmerism has worked? Because he's kind of coming up, and you jump onto the top of the box and you give him the eyes, but then he's reaching forward, and then what happens?
So that's exactly it. The eyes. I don't unlike hypnotism, I don't use words and things like that. But I shift my eyes back and forth like a pendulum, and he subconsciously just follows and starts to get into trance-like state. Should I say that as part of the oof, he falls on top of me and pins me?
Yes. Yes, I like that. The circus strongman falls on top of you. And then I think I am inclined to cut straight to the museum. Yeah? In part because I'm just looking at the clock. We're at 6 minutes past the hour. I'd like to put our first break in now. I'm going to suggest we take a break until 1/4 the hour. Is that long enough? So I'll pause the recording, and if we be back in our seats at 1/4 the hour, and then we'll pick up at the museum. Yeah? And we'll talk to Marvin about whether he brings his mum Len. See you in a bit. I cannot get that woman's voice to turn off in Zoom that tells me I'm recording now, and it puts me off my stride every time. So we are back from our break, and we left it with Marvin Roy clutching the front of the truck as Baker drove the rest of the team back to the museum. Sorry, Prof. I should have asked before we cut whether did you bundle the guy out the back of the truck, or do you want him in the truck when he comes round?
I envisioned that he has pinned me down, so I don't have much.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he already. Yeah. So I think that's probably what we find when Chance and Marvin and Bake go around. You pull into the back of the delivery access to the museum and go around the back, and there's Prof. Under this enormous man. What are you thinking you want to do with this enormous man, Chance?
Well, I definitely want to chat with him. I want to see whether he's whether this was just an opportunity or whether he's actually an agent.
Okay, so do you want to do that in the truck, or do you want to take him into the museum?
I think take him into the museum at this point.
Okay. And the other thing I want to just draw everyone's attention to is refreshing spark. Now, let me be clear, spark doesn't ceiling at what your starting spark was. You can spark and go up and up and up and up in theory. You'll see that there are a number of ways for you to refresh spark. If during the course of an episode, you go out of your way to do something nice or helpful for someone in a scene, or frame a scene where you can do that. So you can frame a scene where you do that. Roll to take out action plus heart versus difficulty of 2. And you may get some spark that way. We don't have any known villains yet, I think, so unless we pin down our strongman. Get to know folks better, i.e. the folks who matter to you, which are the rest of your team. So you can ask one another questions about your background or your life. And depending on how probing that question is, if that person decides to answer it, then you will get spark back. You get quite a lot of spark back for some of those, 3 or 4 spark. But immediately they can then ask you a question about your background. And that's how we flesh out some of the background of the characters. And then there is fraternizing with a name PC. And so far we have what's your mother's name, Marvin? I don't think I asked.
Mrs. Roy.
Mrs. Roy, of course it is. The circus strongman is called Gustav. And I'm going to introduce Dr. Michael Meadows in a moment, the museum curator. So if you fraternize with them and you define what fraternize looks like, then they are definitely going to be a villain. You will definitely give away something. But you will get quite a lot of spark back. Yeah. So while you're mulling that over, let's see Chance. Now, Chance, this guy he's still groggy, and he said, "What happened?" I'm imagining an older Arnold Schwarzenegger with his head shaved. If we're going to go for that accent, but it's definitely like, "What's going on here? What happened?" So, Chance, tell me exactly where we see you having this conversation. And then I'm curious whether anyone else wants to be in that conversation with you. So where first? Where's
this is taking place in the break room of the museum.
Okay. Casper, Marvin, Bake, do you want to be in that room for the questioning, or do you have other plans? Let's start with Casper. Do you want to be in for those questions, or do you have other plans?
I think, yeah, that's fine. I'll be there.
Okay. What about Marvin? Marvin, are you going to go get your mother, or are you going to stay here for the questioning? Or can she look after herself?
Yeah. How far from the circus are we? Like, is it a long distance to get back there, or?
No, it's the other side of Boyle Park. So okay. you lost your tails at one side of Boyle Park. There's the circus, and then there's the road and the new Gauntlet City Museum on the other side of the park. 10-minute walk, maybe, no more than that.
Well, I think before I know, I mean, certainly Mother can take care of herself, but I think that when we finally came to a stop, it took me a minute to get off of the front of the truck. So,
that's when the hood ornament breaks.
Yep. Fell right down on my keister, and I did go up because I wanted to make sure that Bake was all right. It looks like, I'm just assuming you just got your driver's license, and I think this is great what you're doing. Did I get in the way, or I hope I wasn't too much of a hindrance to, this wasn't the driving test, was it?
I guess you deliver that like totally straight, like you're not trying to.
Oh, yeah. I'm getting a distinct impression of Jonah.
Did you get in the way, Marvin? Oh boy, just forget about it. And he's just like, I think he just gets a cigarette out or something. He's just like, like sort of leans against the truck.
Okay, well, as long as I'm not in the way, It's been a while. How have you been? Are you doing okay?
Yeah, I'm doing okay.
I think you just triggered getting to know folks better. So if they are prepared to answer honestly, you gain spark as follows. So a routine question of how things are going, I think is worth 1 spark. Do you want to probe, Marvin?
Well, I am, but really I also need to settle my nerves a little bit before I decide what I'm going to do next, because I just fell off of almost a moving truck. I almost fell off. It was almost moving. But so really I just kind of want to lean against the truck for a minute to feel a little more comfortable.
Share a cigarette?
Yeah, I'll Bake offers you a cigarette. I don't know if you smoke.
Oh, sure, yeah, thank you. And I put it in my pocket. Well, it's were you intending to stop at the circus? Because my mother, I was there with my mother. Did you want to go to the circus or no? I mean,
Oh, but did I want to go to the circus? We got the Nazis chasing us. We've got to get the artifact to the museum. No, I didn't want to go to the circus, Marvin.
wait, the Nazis were? No, come on. Oh, you Nazis aren't here. Well, that's good. That's funny.
You need to wise up. The Nazis are everywhere.
Oh, you're serious? The Nazis? You're running away from the Nazi? The Nazi? What? Wait, tell me more about.
They're trying to get the artifact in the van. I don't know. Chance knows more. He knows all about it.
Oh.
I think what becomes apparent here is that they deliberately didn't ask for your help on this, Marvin, because they knew you were spending time with your mother.
Oh, well, if you want, I mean, but it's okay. So you've delivered the artifact here to the museum. You know, my mother just came back from Europe. She knows a lot about, if it's a European artifact, I could probably get her and she could, and I've read 5 books in preparation for last year's history class about European artifacts. If you need yeah, I'll help. Sure. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, much appreciated, Marvin.
So Marvin, are you going to go and get your mum, or are you going to follow Chance to talk to the strong man?
Well, mother would never forgive me if I didn't go back for her. So you wait right here, Bake, and mother and I will be right back. Just wait right here. And I run back to the circus to find mother.
Okay. Bake, do you stay with the truck, or do you follow Chance and Casper into this room in the museum to question the strong man?
Yeah, I think he would want to. He'll probably join like midway through, like he'll be late because he's. So that's cool.
Okay, so let's start the conversation then. So this big, and he seems really confused. What am I doing here? I should be at the circus. Chance, what are you interested in?
I start off by, I have a jug of water and I have 2 glasses. I pour him a glass. I pour myself a glass. I have a swig.
More water, please.
I pour him some more.
And this time he sips. I remember I was at the circus, and now I'm not at the circus. What's going on here?
And
I remember you, and he points at Casper as if to say, yes, you I remember.
I take out a pack of cigarettes and I shake one out and offer it to him.
He'll take a cigarette.
Take one out.
How do I know? He says, pointing at Casper. How did I end up in a truck lying down on you?
I look at Chance. Oh, this is very fascinating. What is the last thing you remember, sir?
I remember I was standing at my stall and I was bending bars the way I do. And then it all went a little bit blurry. But I remember your face.
Is that from your mesmerism, Professor?
Oh, I don't. I think it was mesmerism, but I don't think it was from me.
Well, that does seem like a reasonable conclusion. I do want to just check in here. Are the pair of you, because this seems to be a quite positive conversation so far, I wouldn't call it interrogation. Are
Right.
you fraternizing with a named NPC?
I'd lean against it. I don't know that word. Well, I don't know. I don't know. It could go either way.
I just want to
Yeah.
put it on the table as a way to get some spark back. I just want to highlight to you. But no, let's not worry about it.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, Casper, it does sound like this guy has been subjected to some kind of mind control or something.
Do you remember anyone asking you about a crate or a candelabra?
I once bent large pieces of metal into a candelabra.
I don't think he'll remember without some help.
Are you able to help him with that?
It's what I do.
So, Prof,
Yes.
take action. I think you're using your academic discipline. I think that you're about to do mesmerism, I'm predicting. So that's 5 and 3 more from your head stat. So this is 8 dice. But this is not going to be easy. I think that I'm going to set the difficulty at 4. So you got, what is it, 7 dice? I lost track.
8.
8 dice. I'm looking for 4 successes, and the number of successes are the number of questions that you can ask him. Yeah. So Ed, you'll get to ask, if you succeed, you'll get to ask all 4 questions, anything else as well. So do you want to add any spark?
I think I'm down to 3, which is not good. I'll keep it as is.
Okay.
Just as a heads up, if spark gets, as it says on the rules page, if your pulp hero runs out of spark, they are down and cannot do anything awesome until spark is refreshed. If they're already down and they lose spark, they are out. And all they can do is engage in refreshing spark scenes. Okay?
Can I toss some spark in on that as well?
I'm not sure how you can, Chance, because you tell me how you think you can.
Does someone being relaxed help with mesmerism, Professor?
Oh, yes. I mean...
No, job done. Job done. How much spark do you want to throw in there?
Let's toss in 2.
Okay, so where are we at now? 8, 9, 10, 11?
10.
10.
Yeah.
10. Okay. So all but one of those dice is going to be rolled. I'm looking for 4 successes, and all successes will lead to questions.
All right, here we go. 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 successes, 2 oofs, whatever they're called.
Okay, so 5 successes. Ask me some questions. But I will tell you now that the oofs cost you spark, and it's clear that whoever or whatever put this man under the influence is an incredibly potent mesmerist. Okay. So loads of, so what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions to ask me. And this is, I think, probably the point at which Bake comes into the room. So feel free to source questions from the table.
Right. So I guess the first one would be tell me of the stranger that you saw right before you woke up and saw me.
And under the influence, he says, he was a tall man. He wore a black fedora, and he had only one eye. So we have a one-eyed man in play. Next question.
And what did he tell you, this one-eyed man?
He pointed at a truck and said, "Get the crate." So second question, 3 more to go.
I'll field it. I'll speak to my my teammates if they have any ideas. I mean, one question might be, what did he want you to do with the crate? But that could be as simple as just bring it back, which would not yield us too much information. If they have better ideas.
I'm just, Jonah, you're not in the room, but I'm very happy for you to put your 5 pencils in.
I'm thinking, was there anybody else with him? Was there anybody else with this one-eyed man?
Okay.
There was a woman with him, an attractive woman, an older woman in a red hat. Two questions left.
If I could suggest another one, did they speak English?
Ooh, good question. He spoke to me in German. I am German. He spoke to her in English. So the one-eyed man is at least German speaking.
I wonder what he said to her, but I don't know if we want to. Is that our last question?
Okay. Want to go with that one?
I'm raising that as a potential question for the professor to ask. Feel free to discount it.
No, I think that's a good one.
I think so too, yeah.
What did he say to her? I think he said Margaret. What can I give you that would be useful to you? The cars have failed. We must get the compass. Okay, that's what he said to her.
Or was that the cars have failed?
Sorry, the compass. Oh, sorry, the cars that were chasing. Yes,
I see.
I think so. That's what I'm meaning to infer. Certainly, yeah.
Okay.
And then he kind of shakes his head and says, I keep blanking out. What's wrong with me, doctor? Because he's treating you like a doctor, because you seem to be behaving like a doctor.
Relax now. I'm going to have a seat. You just had a very strenuous day at the circus.
Can I go back to the circus?
I will look at Chance and Bake.
Absolutely. We just have some business to attend to here. I need to be there for that. So does Bake. So does the professor. Sorry, what was the strong man's name again?
Gustav.
Gustav, would you mind waiting here for a little while? I apologize for the delay, but my friends and I need to take care of some business, but then we will definitely take you back to the circus.
But I have metal bars to bend.
That is true.
I think you need to convince him, Chance.
Okay.
Now, you don't really have a reason to keep him here, do you?
Not really, only that I'm a little worried that if he goes wandering off on his own, he might hurt himself.
Okay.
I don't know how much he's still under.
Okay, so you're not actually hustling him here. You're not, misleading him. You are genuinely concerned for him. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're rolling 2 dice to take action.
Okay.
You're using your jaw, which is another 2 dice.
Which is 3.
3 dice, sorry. And I think that you have a level of authority around you being a gumshoe, so I'm going to give you the extra 2 for your awesomeness. 7 dice. So. I'm only looking for 3 successes.
I'll go with 7 and 3.
And you know, if this doesn't go well, the chances are he won't be here when you come back. I think is the way I'll play this. Yeah,
I like that. 2, 3. And if nobody else wants to contribute, I will go ahead and roll.
No, they're looking at their spark and your spark, and you're on your own, son.
Oh, yeah, fair.
That is 3 successes and an oof.
An oof.
So it you know, you go away feeling worried about him. I think that, you know, this you know, an unwitting dupe of the Nazi conspiracy. But he will be there when you get back. So lose a spark for that oof. I think by this point, Marvin and his mum should be back. Yeah. She looks, you know, she's an older woman. Did we probe how old Marvin was?
No, I think he's probably maybe 32.
Okay, so she's probably in her 50s. You know, and she looks really good in that red hat.
It's European. She brought it back.
Apparently, she brought it back from Europe. That red hat. And so, what are you thinking you want to do? Because at this point, unless you tell me something different, the museum curator is going to come and say, "Have you got the crate?" He's been waiting politely outside, but then when Marvin and his mother turn up, he feels he can justifiably interrupt. And that is when Chance and Casper and Bake come out of the room. And I gave him a name. I forgot what his name was. Michael Meadows. Dr. Meadows says, do you have the crate?
Calm down, Doctor. We have the crate.
It's very important. Tonight's gala cannot go ahead without it. It's the centerpiece.
Well, is it still in the truck?
That's
One moment.
An interesting question.
We were so concerned.
I was curious whether Bake was going to stay with the truck or not.
It's in the truck. We're going to go get it. Dr. Meadows, and I sort of like wave him to come with us. Dr. Meadows, I think you must be aware. The people who were after this was not just another Nazi net trying to catch occult items. They have a very definite belief. They think it's some kind of compass.
And he thoughtfully considers, so what a compass. I shall think about it.
Yes.
And of course, when you get back to the truck, the crate's gone. A black car is pulling away at speed. What do you do?
I look
Mrs.
over.
Roy is saying to Marvin, I thought we were going to see the museum.
I look over at I look at Dr. Meadows, and then I look over at the Bake, the professor, and Marvin. Let's go. I hop back in the trunk.
Yep.
We'll be back in a minute, Doctor.
Yep. We'll just be a sec, Mrs. Roy.
Well,
Dr. Meadows says, my dear lady, do come and share a cup of tea with me. Perhaps I can show you the museum.
You know, if it's okay, I'll join you two.
Okay, the professor follows Dr. Meadows and Mrs. Roy into the museum. Chance and Bake are going to get in the truck and pursue this car. It looks like, Marvin. Which way do you want to jump?
Do you fellas need me in this truck? Can I be of any help to you at all? I know, Bake, you're still getting the feel of this. Did you need assistance or advice on how to safely navigate the streets, or
a new hood ornament?
Honestly, Mr. Roy,
I think we got this, Marvin.
Okay. All right.
Actually,
all right, look after your
I lead
brother.
out and I lead out and like, Mr. Roy, actually, I think Baker could definitely use your help as a driving instructor. And then I wink over at Baker like,
Oh yeah, you check both ways at an intersection. I taught this. I did really well. And I
I
give
think
hop
a
in,
few
you better
basic
get in.
pointers.
Okay, and the truck screeches into the traffic, but it's a car and it's traveling at pace. You see it pulling out and pulling around. I'll come back to Professor in a moment. So Bake, you need to kind of catch it. So I think this, how dangerously do you want to drive?
Incredibly. Obviously.
Incredibly dangerous. Okay, so 1 for Daredevil, 2 for Take Action, 2 more for Tools. So you're on 5.
Okay.
please try not to kill anyone.
Do you want to spend any spark on this, Bake?
Sorry, what was the difficulty?
The difficulty I think is 3. I think, given how the traffic is heavy, but you're going to need quite a lot of successes to catch them up. So the more dice, the merrier.
Yeah, I'll spend 1. Hopefully that will suffice.
Okay, so that's 6 dice, I think, for 3 successes. Marvin, are you offering any advice?
Oh, I have a lot of advice. Now, if I'm helping, do I have to spend spark, or can I help
yes.
without? Yeah. Well,
Only if it's useful help.
oh, it's all very useful. Like, this is, first of all, this is faster than as advised, but so you may want to consider that. But no, I'm not going to offer spark at this time.
So what I'm going to say to you then, I think, is that there is this advice, but it's not doing any good.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, okay, Marvin. Yeah, Marvin. Yeah, okay. Yeah, like, yeah, okay, Marvin.
So 6 dice, 3 successes, unless Chance wants to ante up some.
I want to toss in a spark here, but I think what Chance is doing is just reiterating the things that Mr. Roy says. Like, you should listen to Mr. Roy. Mr. Roy is a good guy. He's really smart.
7 dice, 3 successes. Go for it.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4.
4 successes and no oofs. So that's as good as it could get. So that means not only do you close, because you've got 1 more success, you close a lot. So now you're not far behind them.
Just bumping into the back of them, like.
Well, we may come to that, Bake. We may come to that. Meanwhile, over tea in the director's office, Casper, why were you particularly keen to stay? As if I didn't know.
Yes, I think I need to recharge. That thing with the strong man took a lot out of me.
Yeah, it did. So this sounds like a bit of fraternization with a named NPC, unless, or are you just going to be nice to people?
No, I think this is for fraternization. From what I've heard being inferred.
So I'm curious: is the focus of your attention Dr. Michaels or Mrs. Roy? And which one do you want to be a villain?
We'll go with Mrs. Roy.
I see a red hat. I follow a red hat. Yes. Okay. So Meadows is very much in the background of this. He's chinking of cups, pouring of tea. What's the nature of the conversation you have with Mrs. Roy?
We'll talk about Marvin, of course. He's a colleague. I consider him a colleague, regardless of where we actually are. I never get
to meet Marvin's friends.
Well, that's a pity. I'm sure he would love to introduce you to all of us. We're all so busy sometimes, though. I've heard you just came from Europe.
Yes, it was a fascinating visit. there's so many things are changing there.
I see. Well, what part of Europe, may I ask?
Oh, I did the grand tour. I stayed in a country house in Yorkshire and a chateau in France and a Schloss in Germany. Yeah, high in the mountains in Bavaria. It was really nice.
You must be I've never, well, I can't say I've never, but it's been a while since I've been back to Europe.
You should go. You should travel.
I will put it in my calendar. I'm in between job opportunities at the moment.
I wish I'd found a compass earlier in life to send me on journeys.
I understand. I mean, I know I'm young. I'm still searching in a lot of ways. I hope I didn't give you offense with that comment.
Oh, not at all, young man. And I guess we begin to get a look at Mrs. Roy, and she's quite an attractive older woman. And so at that point, let's cut back to Bake. You've got it behind this car. It's heading for the bridge. What's the plan, Bake?
So I think I'm gonna turn to Chance and I'm gonna say, get out on the running board, and I'll go alongside them, and you stop them, okay?
Well, that seems like a no-brainer as an approach, obviously. So you're going to pull alongside to give Chance an opportunity to do what exactly, Chance? What are you going to do, Chance, if this all works?
So if this all works, I'm going to be jumping. This is it's a car. I assume it's a hardtop.
Yeah. Would you prefer it to be a soft top?
I think a soft top is more interesting because then I've got opportunities to like.
Fine. It's a soft
ideally, I'll end up in the car, but most likely I'll end up on top of the car.
Okay, so I think, Bake, with that extra success, I'm going to have you be able to position the car, the truck, just coming up alongside the car, so we can have Chance get out onto the running board and jump. Marvin, it becomes pretty clear pretty early what the plan is. So I may come back to you in a moment for a view. Chance, I think, I'm not seeing the hustler at work here.
No.
I'm seeing take action.
Mhm.
I'm seeing agility. So I'm seeing feet at work. So 3 dice.
Yes.
While a gumshoe occasionally does jump from one car to another, I'm not sure it's a core expertise.
No.
So I've got 3 dice going.
Yeah.
And I'm looking for 3 successes, I have to tell you.
That's fair. I'm definitely going to toss 3 dice from my spark into this.
Oh, wow, 6 dice.
Yeah.
Marvin, is there anything you think you could do?
Oh, yes.
I'm just curious.
Yeah. I mean, I can over into the front seat and sort of stabilize Chance as you know you're getting ready there. Now here's what you're gonna do.
You just roboted a bit. Tony, you just cut out a bit. I think you've frozen.
And you're gonna turn your legs into sort of a spring.
Jonah, I think we just lost. Can anybody else hear Jonah?
I can't anymore. No.
No, he's frozen. I'm guessing we're frozen for him. Let me just.
You want to make sure that your legs.
Jonah, you just froze on us. We lost most of that. Did we freeze?
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Just give us the highlights then.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. You want to bend with your knees. You want to pretend that your legs are springs. And then you imagine where you want to go. You want to visualize the target. You're going to aim. You're going to believe in yourself because you can do this. I've seen you jump before, not like this, but you can jump. I've seen you jump.
Yeah.
All right. I think you can do it.
7 dice if you put a spark in that, Marvin.
I'll put one in.
I will come to Bake just to ask the question. Is there an 8th dice?
I'm prepared to put them in. I don't know if we think we need them at
Do you
this
want them
point.
chance? 3 successes, 7 dice?
I mean, I'm okay with 3 for 7. I think I
Okay.
can pull that off.
Okay.
Okay.
We're all confident you can.
Time to take a chance. Well.
Oh, 3 successes, yes. But look at those oofs. A pair of oofs. So what does that look like? Because you've made it to the car, but it took something out of you. What did that look like?
So I think I made it to the car. I didn't quite realize that it was a soft top. So my intention was to jump and like land on the roof and then swing through. But then I land on the roof and the roof collapses under me. So
And it kind of snaps up around you a bit, so you're kind of you're tangled in it. Okay.
Yes.
And a man looks around and says, "What the hell?" Let's cut back to the museum. Casper, so you've had this conversation. I think so far, in terms of the bits of fraternization, say what form the fraternization takes. We've had this nice conversation. Say what valuable secret you give away.
That
That
I
a
will.
Nazi villain might want to know.
Right. I think I'm being coy by talking about what Marvin and I and the others are up to. I kind of imply that there's we're trying to get, information from someone, but the person they were working probably thinks that we don't have this information because of, I'll talk a little bit about mesmerism because that's my favorite subject to her. I'll mention that there was a lady with a red hat that he mentioned, but I'm sure that that's very common. I mean, look at yourself. So I think I'll tip off that we know more than they realize we know.
Exactly. So they know what you know about them. Is what comes out of that. And at the end she says, I think if it's okay with you, I'll just go to the ladies' room.
Oh, of course. I'll give her directions.
And then let's cut back to the back of a car. What the hell are you doing in my car?
Is there just the one person?
My wife's scared witless.
Oh shit. I do in the best. Just man, I'm going to need you to pull over.
What the hell? This is New Gauntlet City. This is the home of freedom. Why should I pull over?
Okay, so at this point, do I make it
now,
worse?
I'm curious,
Or do
because you and Marvin are still kind of holding neck and neck with this, as this guy seems to be having a conversation with Chance in the back of the car, and that's when you notice that there is a woman in the car as well. She is not wearing a red hat.
Also, presumably there isn't like an artifact in there anywhere, like in a wooden box.
No, there is no crate in the back of the car. No.
Does the car have a trunk?
It does, but it's a really small one.
It's a really small one.
You couldn't get that crate in that trunk.
Damn it.
So yeah, I think just looking over, doubts started to form. Like maybe.
Do I? All right. I'm going to do what I always do. I'm going to try and talk my way out of it.
Okay. Let's hit him with that hustle.
Let's hit him with that hustle, sir. Thank goodness you were here. I was just involved in a very bad accident. I was thrown from my car. If I hadn't landed on your car, I would have died. Thank you so much.
Oh well, I didn't know there'd been an accident.
Oh yes, no, it's
I'm not going to make you roll for that. I think
Okay.
that's a convincing narrative position to just have him pull over gently.
Thank
And his wife turns and says, "Can I help you?"
I need to stand up for a minute. Let me make sure that I'm okay.
And the guy says, "Don't worry about the roof. The insurance will cover it."
Oh, are you sure?
Yeah.
Because I feel absolutely awful that I landed on your car. Thank you so much.
You should get the number of the guy who caused the accident.
Believe me, I'm going to try to. I think they may
pulls in behind them.
Okay, yep, I'm gonna do it. Oh, that's them there. Hey, sorry, one moment. All right, and then I started to walk over to the truck.
And you see the man and wife have a conversation. He says, "No, I don't think we need to be here anymore, Thelma." And they pull away. Let's cut back to the museum where Casper and Dr. Meadows continue to have a conversation. The conversation's getting a little stilted because Mrs. Roy seems to be spending a lot of time away from the in the ladies' room.
I mentioned this to Dr. Meadows. I hope she's okay. I mean, I know she's an elderly person, but you think one of us should check?
And I think, yeah, you certainly should check. Yeah, yes, he said, yes, my secretary's in the third door on the left on the corridor. The ladies' room is the door after that. Go tell my secretary. She'll go and check.
Oh, I stand up, take a last sip of the tea, and go to see the secretary.
And as you step out of the corridor, there is a gunshot whizzing across the front of you, and you look down and you see Mrs. Roy with Gustav, an enormous crate. It is the crate that clearly somebody in the museum unloaded, and they are making their way away. What do you do, Prof?
Did I see where the gun came from? Or
yeah,
who's
Mrs.
holding...
Roy.
Oh no,
Mrs. Roy is now a villain.
Mrs. Roy, Gustav.
But let me just, reassure you, that was worth 4 spark for you, Prof. So increase your spark by 4.
I added it. Yep.
And they're clattering down the steps. You hear the tip, 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 tip of her high heel shoes as she makes it down the marble staircase to escape from the museum with Gustav and the crate.
I will chase after them.
Okay. And let's see how you do on that, shall we? Are you doing this in a kind of risky way so you could get shot, or are you just trying to stay where you can see them?
I will stay where I will stay where I can see them.
Then let's have you. I think this is feet. So I don't think that this is working on your friend archetype. I have to tell you, I'm struggling a bit.
Oh, Professor.
Sorry, sorry, Professor. Yeah, I'm struggling to see how this works on your professorial background. I'm seeing 2 for take action. I'm seeing 2 for feet. And you're not close enough to mesmerize them. So I think 4 dice. I'm looking for 3 successes. Or do you give up?
Oh, can I make an argument that as a professor, I've been to this museum, so I'm familiar with the layout.
You know your way about. Of course you do. Okay. So that's an extra dice. So that is 5 dice, I think. And I'm looking for 3 successes to stay in sight of them, 4 successes to close on them. Ooh. Okay, so which one? Stay in sight of them.
Stay in sight, yes.
Okay.
I will spend 1 spark.
Okay. Oh, one of that hard-earned 4 you just got back.
I know. All right, so 3 successes, right? Okay, let's try it. 3 successes and 1 oof.
Okay, so the oof is splinters from a marble urn that shatters as you just take cover behind a balustrade. And you see them go out through the main entrance of the museum, get into a car driven by a man with an eye patch who disappears into traffic. And that, I think, is almost where we're going to end this episode, except then Dr. Meadows comes out of his office and says, "What was all that noise?" What do you say, Prof?
I look at him and in the direction of the car, and I look at him. It was my mom's friend.
Oh, I've had some thoughts about this compass idea. And I think we'll close out our first episode there, and we'll work out what clues Dr. Meadows can get you as an entry to episode 2. Shall we give it a break until 10 past the hour? Is that okay? Okay, I'll see you at 10 past the hour. Okay, we're back, and I think I'm inclined to have us cut to all 4 of our heroes in Dr. Meadows' office, and but the candelabra's been stolen, but Casper here talked about a compass, and I think what we'll see is he lays out some photographs of the candelabra that were previously taken and sent ahead, so he knew what he was getting. And at the same time, we'll interleave between you examining the photographs, and then we see Mrs. Roy and the one-eyed German, with the candelabra with it top lit as they rotate it and examine it. It becomes apparent that it is a compass in the sense that there is a kind of alpha. There's a central candle holder, and then I think what you described, Rod, was then 4 at the cardinal kind of compass points kind of thing. And there's an alpha on one of those, opposite one of those kind of subsidiary 4, and an arrow. And when you look carefully at each of the photographs, where they're close photographs of each of these, we will see that there's a number there. And then we cut to them writing down the number. And then they rotate, they follow the arrow around, and you say, well, which one will be next? And so we get 4 numbers. Bake. Everyone's kind of staring at these numbers. They just seem to be numbers. And then, of course, Bake says, that's latitude and longitude. So let's frame our second episode then with that kind of previously on Hit the Nazi, Retrieve the Ark. I think I've selected something is going to happen at a certain time or place. Well, it's going to be a certain place. Yeah, stop it. Let me start with. Let's start with Marvin. Where do you want to encounter your mother in terms of a principal location? It can't be New Gauntlet City, right? But it could be a town, a village, a wilderness miles from anywhere, an archaeological site, or a secret facility.
I think this is probably an archaeological site.
Don't you find that so often the way? So it's an archaeological. Select that from the drop down. I think I'll ask Bake about the local climate, because I want to know where you want to fly them, really.
Okay.
Bake?
Yeah.
So you are currently in temperate East Coast USA. Do you want this place to be cold, freezing, hot, tropical, or equatorial?
Equatorial, I guess.
Okay. And then I'm curious, let me go to Professor Bodenstein. What are you interested in as the local terrain where the next episode is going to take place? Plains, hills, mountains, brush, desert, or forest?
Let's make it a desert.
Okay, so hot equatorial desert somewhere. And then let me go to chance and say, what constitutes the most significant, though probably not the only threat that you will be facing? And the options are unknowing dupes. Oh, we've done unknowing dupes.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Where do you want to take the dial on this one?
I want us to start encountering supernatural creatures.
Okay, supernatural creatures. I can work with that. Let me go back to, I can't remember quite which order I went on. So, because this is supernatural, I'm still curious about this, is mesmerism magic, Rod? So I'm going to go to the Professor Bodenstein and say, do you want to tell me which kind of supernatural creature? Now, there are 4 options there, but there is an etc. on the end. So, you know, what kind of supernatural creature do you want to, creature or creatures do you want to encounter?
Oh, I was hoping you'd ask me about the place, but
Oh, then I will. I will.
well, like, you know, I can tie it together.
Well, give me a place, and we'll see where that takes us.
I was thinking of it was rumored to be the Garden of Eden.
Oh, fine. So, would you write in the place the rumored Garden of Eden? I am going to go somewhere else for the detail of that supernatural creature, but they may take the hint. So let's go to Marvin. You're an educated man. Which supernatural creature or creatures might you find in the rumored Garden of Eden?
Well, I read a book.
Of course you did.
That talked about this theory that there is still some sort of struggle between angels and demons. So whether it's angels or whether it's demons, I don't know. But something like that, I think, is still in the garden.
Fine. Angels and or I'll put this in, add any other details. Angels and or demons. Okay. Let's then go to chance and say, now we know that Marvin's mother is still alive and dangerous as an NPC. We know that the one-eyed German is still an NPC. Conceivably, Gustav the Strongman is still in play. Is there another kind of character Chance wants to see?
Yes. There is a boat captain who does both some legal transit and some illegal smuggling.
Okay, so there is a boat captain.
Yes.
In the only river in this desert.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So there's a boat captain. Just put boat captain down there. And tell us somebody else you might want to encounter, Bake.
Well, I guess we've got the guy with the eye patch. I was going to say like the sort of army, like the army colonel, but I feel like we've got the eye patch guy.
You know, so we can easily have, you know, a senior German officer if you want one.
Yeah, like I just was going to go play into the stereotype and go with that, like the trope.
Why else would we be here?
Yeah.
So write senior German officer or German colonel. Let's be.
Yeah.
That's fine. So we're looking at an equatorial location, which is a desert, but somehow we're going to encounter a boat captain and a German colonel. We're almost certainly we have to encounter Mrs. Roy again. Margaret. It seems logical that the one-eyed German may be on site, and we'll worry about Gustav nearer the time. I think that Dr. Meadows is not going to come. Yeah. So, Bake, when you know, and then there is that picture of a map, you know, isn't there? Where you know, and everyone's unrolling a big map, and you know, longitude, latitude. How are you going to get them there, Bake? Shall we go by boat, perhaps?
Well, although I think I'm like a fighter pilot, I think I can probably speak to my buddies at the Air Force and get us a slightly larger plane for this trip.
We specifically didn't specify your aeroplane. Your aeroplane always has room for 3 passengers.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That doesn't stop it behaving like a fighter plane.
Yeah. Well, I'll fly it like a fighter plane.
Exactly. I don't think we ever found out what you called it.
Oh God, no, I don't know.
Okay, bear that in mind because we might want to come back to it. Yeah, I'm seeing this, you know, sleek, you know, silvered, you know, powerful. You know, fighter planes normally have 1 engine. This has 2 engines. Maybe one of the engines, there's a third engine somewhere, I don't know, that makes it look
like
kind
on
of
the
really,
tail or something.
yeah. You know, we're definitely in that kind of that pulp era super aeroplane kind of country. And of course it's bigger on the inside than it looks on the outside. So, you know, we see this sleek, you know, needle-shaped, hyper-powerful experimental aeroplane on the tarmac. But then when we cut inside, it's quite plush and there's quite a lot of space, and, you know, there's room for equipment and gadgets and stuff. And then we have to have that then cut back to the map as that kind of red line begins to move. Broadly south towards a desert area. I'm trying to think of a desert area on the equator, but I'm struggling a bit, but who cares? We are heading to a patch of desert in Central Africa, perhaps. That would make sense for our Garden of Eden. Marvin, I am curious whether you have a conversation with anybody about your mother and what happened.
Well, certainly. I probably sat next to the professor on this plane because I don't quite understand what happened. What did someone say something to her to make her angry and she just stormed out, or what exactly happened?
I grab his shoulders. Your mother is a Nazi.
Okay, no, but really, did you say something to offend her? Because sometimes she can get upset and it looks like she's a Nazi, but she's not really. Nothing happened?
I was my pleasant self.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, Gustav was under the influence, so to speak. Your mother could well be a dupe. No offense. But yes, there was that one-eyed man. He looked very shifty. She could well be his puppet.
Or maybe she's also suspect something is wrong and she took it upon herself to investigate. That sounds like my mother. Do you think there's a chance that maybe that's what happened?
Oh, well, why would she shoot at me then?
Did she?
Well, my direction.
Okay. Maybe she wasn't shooting at you. Maybe she was shooting. That just doesn't sound like my mother. I mean, you were there and I wasn't there, but that just, I don't know. It just doesn't feel right.
I think the answers lay before us.
Now, look, I think that counts as getting to know folks who matter. I think I think I'm going to give each of you 3 spark for that conversation, in which you try to, on the one hand, rationalize the impossible, on the other side, be as gentle as possible about the reality. I do want to just ask if either of you wants to introduce your greatest fear at this point, because that would be worth an extra spark and give me a fear to play with. If your fear is in play in a scene, then difficulty goes up by 1. So you'd have to get 1 more than usual. So we're playing into the, you know, snakes. I hate snakes. But, you know, it needn't be snakes or something like that. So I just put that on the table. Jonah, what about Marvin? Is Marvin interested in engaging with his greatest fear?
I think it's probably disappointing his mother.
And there was I thinking that it was that his mother was a Nazi, but no, it's still fear that I disappoint my Nazi mother. Okay, would you put that into the there's a little slot at greatest fear on the character keeper, disappointing my mother, spot on. What about Casper? Does Casper want to introduce his greatest fear into this? Because Marvin opens his soul and says, I just can't disappoint her.
Yeah, so he does have a family still in Germany. Unbeknownst to his friends, but he'll tell that to Marvin, that he's afraid of confronting his countrymen, and having his loyalties torn. Though he thinks the whole Nazi movement is crazy, they're still his countrymen.
Okay, so how can we boil that down to a neat phrase? Is he afraid of is he afraid of confronting his countrymen because he's worried about his family back in Germany, or is he afraid that they will be as bad as he fears they are?
Right. I like that he's afraid that they're as villainous. This whole Nazi, he thinks they're crazy, but he doesn't realize how evil they might be, and that's terrifies him.
So he's afraid of finding out how evil the Nazis are, or what's that effect? I can work with that. Fine.
Cool.
And so each of you got 4 spark back. No bad thing. I feel that I really ought to come to Chance and Bake. I am very happy for you to flash back to a low spark scene, or you can have a heart-to-heart. I don't know what you want to do.
I don't know how Bake feels about this, but I think I definitely want to have one of those like probing intimate questions that sort of revolves around like, do you believe in the supernatural or not? Because Chance at this point is very rational and is very like, no. Whatever they're digging up out there, like we can't let them have it because it's a moral victory for them, but it's not magical.
I think that is the point, I guess, where we do get that kind of flashback of you both looking at one another in Meadows' office when he says, and the Sanskrit on the base of this says, and he who shall find it shall inherit the earth. What's that all about? So I think in that context, the supernatural question is well made. So Bake, what are you going to come back as?
Yeah, so I guess he starts off with like he's like, well, I know what I was taught in Sunday school. Never really made any sense to me, but sometimes when you're up there in the sky alone, feels like it's just you and the world below you. Sometimes I think maybe there is something in it.
Do you want to get as far as to declaring your fear, Bake, and then to probe back at Chance?
Yeah, I don't know what my fear is. I'm afraid I didn't decide one. Does anyone have any suggestions for what would make the perfect fear for Bake?
Let's flip round to Chance and see whether Chance drops anything in the conversation that might just spark something off.
Yeah, no, I get that. I haven't been up here with you as much as you have. For me, it's every time I got to go into a speakeasy or a gin joint and drag out some husband that just wants to drink himself into oblivion rather than go back to his life. It's maybe up here you see that, maybe up here you see God, but down there I've definitely seen devils.
Yeah, I can't imagine anything worse than that. Just letting everyone down, letting down the people that matter to me.
Yeah.
Oh, well, what about that then? So letting down the people that matter, Bake, that sounds like
that's what I'm going with.
Yeah. And Chance, how do you want to phrase yours?
Mine is similar but different. Mine is becoming an addict.
Okay. Right. So you're afraid of addiction.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's the dotted line is moving, you know, and we see it moving over jungle, and then, you know, just impossibly, we're then flying over desert. How can that be? Bake, it's too early for radar, but that doesn't mean you don't have it. And so what do you do when you see, you know, there are two bing, bing, bing on this kind of enormous cathode ray tube?
Right. Yeah.
What do you do?
Looks like we got company.
Remind me, what does that thing do again?
Oh, it's an experimental device. It's what the tech guys call a radar. Lets us see other aircraft before we can see them with our eyes.
That's way too technical for me.
And they say the supernatural isn't here already.
Yeah.
And you know, of course, this is in the main cabin, not just, you know, there's a little one on where the next to the pilot and the co-pilot seats. Oh no, there's only one pilot. Yeah, there's no second pilot here. But there's a large one mounted above the door that it goes from the main cabin into the cockpit, and it goes ping, 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 and you know, these pings are getting closer to the center of the dial. Professor, I think you might be, you and Marvin actually might be familiar with the idea here. Marvin certainly so. Marvin, what do you make of this this apparent threat?
Oh, I think I read about this. Well, let me see if I can recall. I think if there's some danger while you're flying, you want to just avoid, just get away, and let them pass. Sometimes to the side and just let the other aircraft go. Do you think we should tell Bake? He probably knows. He probably knows.
Oh, I think that, you know, the cockpit and the main cabin are kind of, you know, next to one another. You know, he can hear that if you want him to hear that.
Oh, well, I mean, I wouldn't bother him while he's flying, but I might speak loud enough so that in case he doesn't think to just move to the side and let the other aircraft pass, he might remember because he hears someone say it.
Prof, what are you thinking at this point?
Oh, well, there's so much space in there. Can't the craft just go around? I don't know, but I'm not a pilot.
Chance, what about you? Any advice for Bake before I ask him?
Is that something we should be worried about, Bake? There's two dots on the round thing.
Well, they're moving pretty fast, and it looks like they're coming straight for us. So I'd say yes.
That does sound bad.
Well, what's the plan, pilot?
Maybe I can get so that the sun is between me and the aircraft that are coming towards us. So let's say that.
I'll be honest, it'd be much easier for you to be between the sun and them.
Yeah, sorry, what did I say? The sun was between us and them. That'd be amazing, wouldn't it?
It would. That's some kind of aeroplane.
I want to be positioned between the sun and them.
Okay, so this doesn't sound very daredevilish. This sounds very very sensible, actually.
Yeah, just for now.
Exactly.
This is just before we get started.
Of course. So that gets you 2 dice. You are using tools, the plane, so that's 4 dice.
Okay.
You are certainly in air ace, which gives you another 2, so you're at 6 dice. I think at this point I'm just looking for 3 successes.
Okay, I think I would just roll as is.
Okay.
One short
dear.
and an oof.
So 1 oof costs you a spark.
Okay.
And you know, we see you heading up, and then these 2 messerschmitts you know, come into shot, and we can see the sun, and then inexplicably a cloud passes in front of the sun, and the 2 messerschmitts, you know, do you see that? Yeah, I see that. As they turned towards you. And you have 2 messerschmitts incoming, Bake. Now, I'm very happy for you to, as I think I said earlier on, you can have gimmicks, you can have air ace stuff available to you using tools. What do you think you might want to do to defend yourself against these? I just noticed in the chat, Chance, I start looking for parachutes.
I mean, I got a lot of faith in Bake, but let's be honest here.
I just think if I close with them quickly enough, they won't be able to hit me. So
okay, so you just dive towards
just going to dive towards them as fast as I can. And then I will outmaneuver them once I pass them, you see.
Okay. So I think that is a risky strategy. I think we can all agree that Daredevil comes into play. So that's Daredevil and take action is 3 dice. Yep. The aeroplane gives you another 2. And you get 2 for the air ace awesomeness. So that's 7 dice. But I think I am looking for 4 here.
Okay. I'm gonna put a couple of spark or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
So that's 2 more. So I'd make that 9.
That's 9 dice, looking for 4 successes.
Let's do this. Ooh, 3 successes.
That's 3 successes. Oh wow! So the oofs.
It's not great luck.
I think that as you dive towards, and they kind of, do you believe what he's doing? No, I don't. And there's tracer is incoming, and I think there are some ping on the surface of. We still haven't named the plane.
Oh, it's got to be something to do with angels, right? Like.
Oh yeah.
Angel something. Anyone finish it off for me?
Any offers from the table?
Angel fire.
Yeah.
Angel fire.
Angel fire.
Angel fire. Yeah.
Okay. Angel fire it is. Well, angel fire is taking fire. And I think there is some kind of sparks begin to come off the panels, and that's where the oof comes from. The rest of you kind of in your seats as this is diving down, and then it. Chance, what if anything do you do?
Well, I start by turning white, then turning green, and then.
You don't think you need a drink?
Yeah. And then I start looking. I pop up my flask, take a swig, and then and then I'm going to start looking for fire extinguishers. I want to actually get on a repair duty here.
Okay, so we got fire control sorted.
Yes.
What about you, Marvin?
I think I go up to the cockpit behind Bake.
And just say down. You're scampering down the aisle to what
Hey, you need anything? Anything we can do for you back here? Anything we can do to help?
Well,
fire the gun! Fire the gun!
I was going to ask that very question.
There must be like a gun turret or something.
There has to be a gun turret. Yeah, because no one's ever wondered where that ladder that's been just in and out of shot as we've been wandering about this. And there is indeed a turret on top of the aeroplane. So, Marvin, is that an offer you can refuse?
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Up there. Yeah, sure.
Prof, what about you? Are you belted into your seat? Or do you have something else in mind?
I will assist Chance in whatever he's doing. Probably
Damage
get in the way,
but fine. I have to start with Marvin. I'm now seeing Luke Skywalker the first time in the turret. And so there's Marvin, in the seat, and he's got this big pair of heavy machine guns and a turret that's swinging round, and the messerschmitts are going, Do your thing, Marvin.
Well, I think the first 30 seconds are trying to get it to stop rotating. And then I think, I think I read a book about this. I think, maybe. But hey, anything for Bake, anything I can do for him. If this is what he
Friendship.
needs, this is what I'll do.
Friendship matters. Take
okay.
action. Tools. You're at 4 dice with tools. I think that this is all about understanding their acceleration and vector. And then you just need, you don't fire at them, you fire where you think they're going to be.
Right. I once had to substitute for the geometry class a few times. This is a lot like that.
So I think the academic kicks in. That's 6 levels of, that's 6 dice. I'm looking for 3 successes. Would you like to spend some spark?
I can spend a spark or two. I mean, I'm also in the back of my mind thinking I might have to jump out of an airplane, so I don't want to spend a whole lot of spark.
I quite understand.
But I think I can do 1. Yeah.
Okay, so I think that's 7 dice, looking for 3 successes, and of course you've crammed on some headphones so you can talk to Bake. And is there, do you want to ask Bake to maneuver in a particular way?
Can you try to be a little more steady? Just steady. This isn't easy up here.
Yeah.
Do you
I guess like all these bullet holes on the fuselage or something, and it's like I'm just trying to keep it level, and it's like, sure, no worries.
So Bake, do you want to keep it steady enough to spend spark on it?
Where do we get to? Do you need some?
We got 7 looking for 3, I think.
I think I better keep it for now.
Okay.
The whole finale to get through. So.
Okay. So, yeah, angels and demons, shit.
Yeah.
So Marvin, let's lock and load at these incoming Messerschmitts with 7 dice.
7 it is.
4 successes.
Oh.
No oofs. One of them trailing, burning fuel.
Yeah. Geez, well, I hope he gets out.
Oh, and then of course, because this is 15, we cut to parachute, floating down. And you also hit the other one, the extra success, if you like, hits the other one, but you didn't take the other one out. Let's go to damage control. I think Casper is helping Chance, so I'll go to Chance to use your tool skill to just control any, small fires occurring.
I'm trying to think if there's anything I can do with my strength rather than tools. I kind of want to lean into my strengths right now.
I'm struggling a bit, unless you can come up with something.
Me too. Actually, I start because there's spark coming out. Can we say that there is something that has caught on fire, like part of the furniture inside?
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to struggle to get it out, and then struggle to get it out of the door.
Oh my goodness me! Open the door in the side of the plane and throw burning furniture at the Germans.
Yes.
Yes. That is strength at work. So this is 2 to take action. 3 more for hands. This isn't playing to your skill set particularly, apart from your burly. Do you want to spend any spark? I've got to look for 3 successes, but if you were to get 4 or 5 successes, I might let you hit an airplane.
That is reason enough to toss in 2 spark.
Okay, so we're at 7, looking for 3. Prof, you are helping with this burning furniture. Do you want to help enough to put some spark into it?
Yes, I will throw in. I'll open the door and I'll hold the door open and give in a spark.
Okay, so that's 8 dice, looking for at least 3 successes to get this out of the plane, and after that we'll talk about benefits.
All right, let's roll. Ooh, oh my!
Ooh! Look at that! 5 successes, 1 oof. So I think there's some burned. You have to kind of get rid of the burning on your jacket.
Absolutely.
But that's 5 successes. So certainly it's out. So damage is controlled. But I cannot resist the idea of as Marvin is deca, as and Bake is kind of, you know, trying to flip this round so you can chase this Messerschmitt. Just at that point, Bake pulls to one side, you heave it out, and cut to Messerschmitt pilot. Poof, into the sand. What a scene. You know, why didn't Steven Spielberg make that movie? So I think at this point, Bake, you know, the thing that comes to your mind is that on the charts, there is nowhere that they could be flying out of. You know, there's there's no significant settlement out here with an airport. And there's no evidence that that the Germans are in Africa yet. So does that make you think twice about where you want to land?
Yeah, totally. So we know where they came from, so head that way, I guess.
Right.
We'll
So
see,
stay on course for your latitude and longitude where this archaeological site is.
Yeah.
But are you, you know, do you want to put her down over the horizon from this, you know, or over behind those dunes, or, you know, something? Of course, that's when you spot the river. Boat captain, have to have a river. And of course, this plane has deployable floats.
Yeah.
You know, so so if the wheels come down that way, and you land on the ground, but then the floats come down in a different direction. They're in a different part of the wing. So, do you want to put down on this river?
Yes, I do.
Okay. I'm not going to make you roll from that. I think we should down you come onto this river. It's bizarre. It's like the Suez Canal, but it's a natural river. There are dunes as far as the eye can see. But then this river, which isn't on any of the charts. Dum dum dum. What's the plan from here? I think is this where you'd like to encounter your boat captain? I'm just curious, Chance. You put the boat captain in play.
I think this would be perfect.
Okay.
Perfect time to encounter the boat captain.
Do you want to name your boat captain?
Captain Lovett.
Captain Lovett. And I think that as you kind of come in, you realize that there is actually down here a little kind of shack or a little kind of cove with a boat in it. And describe Captain Lovett to me. Tell me something about Captain Lovett, Chance.
Captain Lovett is an older woman. She's definitely from this part of Africa. She's tall and wide, like she's pretty burly looking. Has a bunch of gold teeth. Sort of comes across as a very jovial pirate. Sort of like, ha ha.
Okay. And we see Captain Lovett standing there, you know, hands on hips, large capacious skirt, I'm thinking, and, you know, ornately braided and piled up hair, in which, you know, stuff has been woven in, and she's peering out at you as Bake just kind of steers the angel fire into the dock. And then I think Professor Bodenstein, what worries you about Captain Lovett? Because jovial pirate, but what worries you? Anything?
The swords that each of her crew members is carrying at their side.
Lots of swords and cutlasses in view in this, this crew of 4 or 5 of this this pretty ramshackle steamboat, low in the water, maybe a cabin, but lean-to awning at the back maybe. Marvin, what reassures you about Captain Lovett?
Well, from here on shore, just looking at the boat, you can see that up on the bridge, she has a lot of books, so she can't be all bad.
She's well read. Yeah, that's reassuring. Okay. And so Captain Lovett is ostensibly welcoming you. She's interested in where you've come from, where you're going, why you're here. Because all she does is she makes a living. There are a variety of, desert people living in the desert, and she ferries stuff to and from. So she ferries stuff they have out, and she ferries stuff they want in. So it's by way of a tiny trading post. So she's curious what's going on. Bake, what do you tell her when she says, "Why are you here?"
Interesting. I think this person is not a Nazi, and so I'm going to say,
well,
to fight Nazis.
Can I say, if you don't fraternize with her, you can be pretty certain she isn't.
Yeah. So yes, I'm going to say to fight Nazis.
She says, I've read about them. And Marvin goes, yes. They're the people on the mountain. And for the first time, then she points, and above the desert, you can see this ray, bigger than a hill, smaller than Everest, but it's clearly a mountain. And she says, yeah, I've seen aeroplanes coming in and going out of there. In fact, I saw 2 earlier today going off, but I didn't see those come back. Cut to 2 disgruntled German pilots trudging through the desert with their parachute silk tied as headdresses against the sun, because we are 15 plus. Professor, you're slightly nervous of the fact that she and her crew are so well armed. Do you attempt to kind of make sure she's on side, to make friends? How do you kind of reduce what you see as the risk they present?
I will casually mention that we're from America, and that the land of a lot of resources. And now that we know they're here, maybe and I know a museum director who would love antiquities that may be found in this area. Perhaps we could work a deal out for future.
And I think that you notice that as well as the weapons, some of the stuff that's braided into her hair is clearly, of archaeological interest.
Ooh.
And I think, yeah, I like that as an idea, that you cite, New Gauntlet City, the home of freedom in the US of A. And she doesn't know any better. So she goes with that flow. And I'm curious, Marvin, do you ask anything about what she might know about what's going on the mountain? You know, presumably this is where your mother is, inverted commas, being held captive, inverted commas.
Well, I mean, it seems like that's where we go. It's where our path is leading. Do you have any suggestions on how we can maybe get there without attracting much attention?
Well, the river runs from the mountain, and the local people say that the river has always flown from the mountain, and yet we have so little rain. But the river leads to the mountain.
Have you ever been up there? Have you gone to the end of the river?
No. Everyone says that the end of the river is no place to be. I prefer to be on the river. I travel from here out into the forest and the jungles around about to civilization, and then I travel back, but I don't go to the mountain.
Would you like to?
Now, I am going to look, I think, chance when you hear Marvin drop that into the conversation, because I've a suspicion that you may have more chance of convincing someone to do something. Or you could leave it to Marvin.
I definitely would like to step in here if I could do so without being too rude. Because
I think, you know, there's a conversation going on.
Yeah.
Because, you know, the look on her face when Marvin says, "Would you like to?" is kind of.
So I think the tact I'm going to take is, of course, only a particularly, you know, brave, strong, experienced boat captain would want to take such a perilous journey. I mean, I can understand if somebody who didn't feel up to it would want to just stay here and where it's safe.
Okay, let's see how this goes. So I think you're just definitely trying to hustle her.
Mm-hmm.
I think two for take action.
Mm-hmm.
I think 3 for you for Giorgio, not war. So we're at 6. Yeah. Can you find a way to leverage your PI experience into this?
I've definitely taken this tact with people before. This is not the first time I've tried to nag somebody into doing something.
Fine, I'll give you 8 dice. I am going to look for 4 successes though.
That's fair. And I think I am going to stay with just the 8 dice.
Okay. Does anybody else think they could help in convincing Captain Lovett? Bake, what do you think?
I think I could help by trying to keep Marvin quiet.
I think I'm happy for that to turn 8 into 9 dice with 1 spark.
I'll spend 1 spark and I'll try to distract Marvin in a side conversation.
Yeah. Prof, what about you? Do you think that you can add to this? If Chance, what needs it? You're 9 looking for 4. So Chance, are you still looking for help?
I'm definitely open to help at this point.
What do you think, Casper?
I will take I will take her side and say, "Oh, I'm sure this captain is one of the bravest boat captain in this land," and try to build her up so that she can't back down.
I go with that. So reduce your spark by 1, and I think that gets us. I'm losing track now. Is that 9 or 10?
To me it looks like 10.
10. Yeah. But I will, Marvin. You know, Bake is distracting you, but do you want to put some spark in? And if so, how does it get in?
how would I, if I'm being distracted, I think,
What I'm saying is I don't want to
Yeah.
deny you the chance to put spark in if you want to.
yeah, I think that my first thought was that I was going to try to be very, very chummy with the captain. But then upon distraction, we're led a little bit away from the primary conversation. And so I just start introducing myself to members of the crew and shaking their hands and looking them in the eye and introducing them to Bake. Like,
And you're such a nice guy.
And I think it's really just about, if the crew is also excited about us, then maybe the captain will feel a little more inclined to go along.
Okay, so I think that gets us, you spend a spark, I think that gets us to 11 dice, looking for 4 successes. And you see Lovett look across at the crew who are, you know, talking, and they're laughing with Marvin. And she catches the eye of her bosun, and the bosun says, let's see if that's good enough.
All
4
right.
successes, 11 dice.
See where
Which
this
is
goes.
all of them, I think.
Yeah.
5
1, 2,
successes.
5 successes.
1 oof.
1 oof. So that definitely, I'm coming to the end of my reserves here.
Yeah, you are. You are. You may want to think about, could Captain Lovett actually be a villain? It's never too late. Of course I will take you to the Nazis.
Excellent.
So I think we're just on the hour. We've got another hour left to play. I'm going to suggest we take a quick 5-minute break this time, as you all pile onto the steamboat, and you know there's going as it chugs away up the river. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
I'll pause the recording. And so this kind of African Queen kind of ramshackle steamboat with a cabin and 4 or 5 piratical crew and our heroes is chugging up the river. And I think that it is fair. We've had a chat, 1 or 2 of us had a chat while we've just waiting to restart. I think it is fair to give everyone the opportunity for a refreshing spark scene, if they want one. Let me start with the person who is in direst need, which is Chance, currently on 1 spark. So how do you want to be seen refreshing some spark?
Okay, so I the way that I want to do this is I'm going to take a page out of Mr. Roy's book and really get in with the crew and get in with the captain as well. I think I, especially with the captain, want to say like, if you want to make deals to sell stuff to Americans, that's fine. Just make sure that, you know, you get everything you can from them, because they will try and get everything they can from you.
So is this you do something nice or helpful for someone in a scene or frame of scene? Fine. So roll to take action. So that's 2 plus heart. Can't remember what your heart is.
2 as well.
So that's 4 versus a difficulty of 2. So you just need 4 dice, 2 successes. Every success is an extra spark.
Excellent. Let's roll it.
There you go, 2 spark.
2 spark.
So not a great number, but better than it was.
Could be worse for sure.
Let's continue that approach of then going to Marvin. Marvin, you are the next lowest in spark. Do you want to engage in a bit of spark raising? Oh, you are muted, I think.
Yeah, I absolutely do. I think there's one of these members of the crew who maybe looks like he drew the short straw and had the job that nobody else wanted. And I just can't let him, you know.
You are such a guy.
Yeah, it's something with coal and he's kind of dirty. And I mean, I'm just sitting here, so I may as well help out.
Okay, so you are going to roll to take action with heart, which I think is your biggie. So that's 5 dice. All I need is 2 successes. All your successes are golden. It's extra spark.
Okay.
3 spark. Look at that. Look at that. So 3 spark.
Excellent.
What about bake? You content, or do you want to engage in a bit of spark refreshing?
I can't think of a justification off the top of my head, so I'm
Can't think of anything you could do that was nice for somebody else. Come on.
that's not the kind of guy he is, you know.
Okay, no, I quite understand that. It makes perfect sense for character. What about Professor Casper Bodenstein?
Right. So I know that I know that sure. I'll give an opportunity to bake as well, to be nice, and I'll mention to him that, oh, you notice Marvin's really kind of fearful about confronting his mother. Let's go cheer him up, kind of thing.
Oh, that works. Yeah,
right.
yeah. And you know, how do we see you cheering up Marvin, Prof? What's your approach?
You know, I'm gonna tell her that yes, I thought about it. She's definitely been hypnotized or mesmerized or something. There's no way. I'll try to maybe, you know, I'm sure this can't be the mother that, you know, and I'll just take stabs in the dark of nice moments, you know, celebrated your birthday with you and helped you get up when you fell down, kind of thing. So.
Hey, can you think of anything that you could do to cheer up Marvin or reassure?
Yeah, because of the excellent gunnery skills during the chase. I forgot about that. So like, I think you know, because you know, I guess it's like he's sort of it's like grudging respect, right? So he's gonna it means, I think it means a lot coming from him to like give the compliment about it, and so he's like, you know, you're right, and you know, in a tight spot, I can rely on you, kind of thing, and try to sort of buoy up his spirits a bit, you know.
No, that's brilliant. So let's start with Casper. 2 for action, plus heart. Can't remember how many that is. It's 3, isn't it?
Yes.
So 5 dice. Any successes?
I got 2 successes, but a 1 oof.
Oh no, oof doesn't apply on this case.
I love that.
Don't worry about it. So 2 extra spark, and in the case of bake, that's 2 to take action, 1 for heart.
Yeah.
I love a man who plays to character. Thank you. So roll 3 dice. Any POWs will earn you.
I got a couple.
There you go. That's better than nothing. I am going to go back round to chance just to point out you're still on 3. I can't. Can you think of any kind of fictional positioning that give you another shot at this?
Yes, actually.
Go on then.
So there is also the like getting to know folks who matter.
Yeah.
And you know, I kind of wanted to sit down with Mr. Roy during this whole trip.
This is the time.
Yeah. So I do that. One time at one point we're on the way to the mountain, and it's just like, so Mr. Roy, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm great. I you know, it's kind of hot, but it's probably always. You think it's always this hot around? No, I'm fine.
I think
that has already earned you 1 spark for a routine question.
Nice.
Do you want to go dig deeper?
I think it's the warm season. I do actually. First off, I want to let you know you've done amazing. I can't believe how well you've integrated with the crew here. I mean, I'm a little bit worried. I'm going to be honest, Mr. Roy. If your mother, I mean, I think the professor's right. I think she's under some kind of mesmerism. But if your mother is mesmerized, at some point she might try and kill us.
Well, I mean, but she doesn't mean to.
No,
I mean,
she doesn't. But bullet from a gun that means to kill you A bullet from a gun that doesn't mean to kill you as fast as a bullet that means to.
Well, you're saying that I guess I don't understand really what you're concerned about guns, and I agree.
What Chance needs to do is to somehow turn this into
Yes.
a question, I think.
Yes. Are you ready to face your mother if you have to?
Oh, well, I mean, I am ready. I am ready to make sure that she is safe and to bring her home. Yes, I am ready. I am ready.
All right.
Do you want to dig any deeper than that, Chance, or will you settle for an extra 2 spark? Because I think you went through to a more intimate question.
To a more intimate question. I think I'm gonna stay with just the 2 for now.
Okay, well that's 3 in total.
3 in total. I think so.
Yeah.
I'll take the 3 in total.
Okay.
I don't know if we have to go into any more fears. Mr. Marvin can if he wants, but I think that's enough for me.
You want to ask any? Do you want to dig into Chance, Marvin?
Who would have thought that fate would have brought us here? How is this the furthest away from home you've ever been?
Yes. Yes, it is. I mean, I had a chance to visit Europe for a very short time when I was young, but no, I've never been to anything like this. Honestly, I feel unprepared.
Oh, now, I think that you started off with a very easy question, but he gave you quite a deep answer. So I think you're at 3. Are you saying, Chance, that being out of your depth is currently a fear?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, add that as a fear, and Marvin, you can have 4 spark for digging that out of him.
Right.
Which means you got loads of spark now.
Yeah.
Everyone's gonna be
Nice.
looking for Marvin's help. And then I think we're going to cut to towards our finale scenes, I think. And out of the night, we can see that the river flows out of a tunnel. But away to one side, you can see a German army camp. Yeah, tents in the desert. All, Africa Corps, it's all very, straight out of those World War II movies. And I suppose the question I've got for you, do you want to go towards the camp or the tunnel? What do we think? Marvin, which way do you want to jump?
Oh gosh, I mean, they're probably holding Mother prisoner in the camp. So
1 vote for the camp. Prof? Just to be clear, I imagine we're going to go with some kind of majority.
Right.
I don't really want to split you up when we're this close to some kind of climactic scenes.
I think, can I just say I'll go with whatever the majority says? Or do you want me to pick?
No, that's fine. No, that's a perfectly legitimate approach. What about Bake? Tunnel or camp?
Camp to get the Nazis.
Hit the Nazi, retrieve the insert.
Yeah.
Chance, it looks like 2-0 for the camp.
2-0 for the camp. You know what? I think there's a chance we can waylay somebody and I can take their uniform and talk my way in. Yeah, let's try the camp.
Oh, right. So, Captain Lovett, just coasts the boat in to the bank. And what do you want her and her crew to do? Chance, it sounds like you've got the makings of a kind of plan to talk your way in. Do you want them to do anything, or do you just stay with the boat?
Stay with the boat and be ready for our escape.
Okay. So they're your way out. I think from Marvin's point of view, you want to get into the camp and find your mother. Why wouldn't you? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Bake and Bodenstein, you are prepared to, Bake wants to punch Nazis. Casper may want to watch Bake punch Nazis. I don't know. Time will tell. So I think I see the four of you, sneak in through the desert night. The stars above are a great arc. We can hear the of a generator that is generating. You can see electric light scattered about the camp, and it looks like there are some big towers with spotlights on, illuminating something towards the center of the camp. Yeah. So, Chance, you had an outline of a plan around uniforms.
Yeah. First off, I'm going to see, is there any, I'm going to watch for a bit, and I'm going to see, is there a tent where they're keeping equipment? If so, there might be some spare uniforms there. That's plan A.
I think you're going to have to get into the camp to start knowing what's inside the tents.
Excellent.
Unless you just take a punt on, we go to the biggest tent.
I think maybe not the biggest tent, because that's probably the command tent. And we don't want to fight the leaders yet.
And the trouble is that once you get away from the biggest tent, you get into other tents.
Right, exactly. There's a lot of tents.
There's the biggest tent, the smallest tent, and a range of tents. So if you don't go for one extreme or the other, I'm struggling a bit.
Let's go for the middle tent. Let's go for the tent that looks to be the most medium.
Okay. So you're going to sneak in. Okay. Now,
Yes.
Who's the best sneak? Who's the best, kind of the most agile, dexterous, quiet? Who's got most feet going for them?
Bake.
Oh, Bake. So I think Bake, it's down to you to get these guys to where Chance is convinced he'll be able to find a uniform. Yeah. How much risk do you want to take, Bake?
Loads, obviously.
Of course. And so I think that what we see Bake doing is probably there's an Africa Corps cap just blowing on, and so Bake just puts the cap on and marches, hiding in plain sight.
Yeah.
So you're looking at 1 for Daredevil, 2 for Take Action, 3 for Feet. I'm not seeing Air Ace at work here, but I'm looking for 3 successes because I just love the idea that all I need is a hat and I'm in disguise. And then the 3 of you kind of see him doing this, and you're moving through the shadows in parallel. And maybe if nothing else, people are looking at him, not looking at you. Let's see how that goes. 3 successes, 6 dice. Will you look at that?
But 2 oofs.
2 oofs, sadly. Took a lot out of you, that. Bake, this thin veneer of absolute confidence. At one point you see, perhaps a colonel talking to somebody else, and he just looks to one side, and then Herr Hauptmann, and he turns back without actually focusing on you. And so you are at a tent. Yeah. Do you want to go into the front of it, Bake, or is this about cutting down the back of it?
Just the front. Keep up the I belong.
Keep
here,
up the
so
pretense.
let's just keep going.
I'm going to ask Chance, because this was in theory his plan.
Yes.
Do you go around the front and follow Bake into this tent, or are you going to cut your way in at the back?
I think I'm going to sneak my way in the back. I don't have Bake's confidence right now.
Okay. So at the point that Bake crosses the threshold at the front, we hear as you cut and step in. Yeah. Marvin, Prof, do you follow Casper in, or do you pause? Marvin?
No, I think if we're in this together. If it's time to go, it's time to go.
Casper, what about you?
So it sounds like Bake is going the front and Chance is going in the back. Is
Yep.
that correct? I oh, I'll go
Let's
with
face
Bake.
it, neither of those choices are great.
No,
There,
and then
there is a third one, which is to wait outside and see what happens
and Marvin, you're going which way?
in the back.
Mhm. Following
I'll go-
chance.
I'll go in with Bake.
Okay, so Bake goes in through the front, the tent flap. Casper follows behind. Chance cuts through the back and steps through. Marvin steps through. And so I think what you do is you step into a tent with kind of 4 bunks and 2 Germans in it. And Bake comes through first, and they kind of look, see the hat, and then look, and then in comes Casper, who doesn't look like a German soldier.
Oh, but I do speak German. and I will
You
greet
do
them.
speak. You do, of course you do. Now, Casper. Then let me come to you first. What do you do? Because they look up and look down and then look again, as if to say, "Who are you?"
I will ask in German. First, I'll say Heil. How are you doing?
Oh yeah, they stand up. How hit that?
I'll ask where Franz is.
France.
There must be a Franz.
There must be a France. Yeah, he's on guard duty. He's in the tower. That's the point. I think, Charles. You step in the back, and the 2 Germans are facing away from you, talking to Casper. What do you do, Chance? And then what do you do, Marvin, as you follow Chance in?
I absolutely take this opportunity to try and sleeper hold one of them from the back.
Marvin, Chance steps up to one and kind of. What do you do?
So the one from I'm guess. Well, I don't know. Is it possible for Chance to like grab one without the other one noticing?
No.
Okay. Then I see him do that, and I'm gonna help him. I'm gonna help him make sure that the one that
The
he
one
grabbed,
goes down. Okay.
yeah, he has
Okay.
control of him.
Okay. So I think this is hands at work, Chance. So I'm not sure you're hustling here. I think take action. 3 for hands.
Yep.
I think this is absolutely a gumshoe thing.
I think so too.
7 dice, only 3 successes. And do you want to spend any spark, or do you want to take some spark from Marvin for help?
I want to toss in 1 spark to bring me up to 8.
Okay. I am looking at Marvin, who's sitting on 11
Yeah,
spark.
I can. If you want to save your spark, I can use one of mine.
Oh, okay, sure. I'll do that.
Okay. So that's 8 dice, 3 successes. Go for it.
1, 2, 3. 4,
Marvin's going to be everybody's friend from now on.
Oh yeah.
Oh, thanks.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and no
Six.
oomph.
6 successes. You cold cock the first one and control the second one.
Nice.
Yeah. Because you just take one down, and the other one turns, but sees Marvin and goes to Marvin, and that allows you to get him. So
Nice. Perfect.
so you have 1 unconscious German, 1 conscious German, and 2 uniforms. What's the plan?
All right. Tie up and gag the conscious
Oh,
German.
yeah.
Untie the tie up the unconscious one as well.
Put
Shall
the
we-
boot
shall
in
we-
a little bit?
Yeah. Shall we do the joke of they all, we all fit the uniforms, or should we do the joke of one of us doesn't fit the uniforms? Which joke should we do?
I've already got a hat, so I'm covered.
Oh,
He's
you're
covered.
perfect. I definitely want to see if I can get the professor in a uniform, because I don't actually speak German.
Yeah, I think the professor has to be the convincing German.
Mhm.
Because he is the only one who speaks German and can be convincing, so he has to be the convincing German. So the one uniform fits the professor.
Excellent.
Bake is sticking with the hat.
Sticking with the hat.
So Chance and Marvin, which one of you wants to be the one who doesn't fit the uniform? Then we get both jokes.
Yes, perfect. I think for maximum humor, it should be Marvin who fits the uniform.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah,
Like
because
a glove.
a least likely German, it is difficult for any of us, Nazi, that's unfair. The least likely Nazi is difficult to conceive of. And so, okay, we've got two people in uniform, one in a hat, and Chance. Where are we going from here, team? I will remind you that those floodlights are illuminating something in the center of the camp. I think we know where Bake wants to go. Marvin?
Oh gosh. Well, I guess we should get out and look around to see if we can find where they're keeping all the prisoners.
Okay. So Marvin, I'm going to suggest that you and somebody else make a kind of circuit of the camp, trying to work out where there's any kind of prisoner pen or similar, yeah? And maybe the other two just go and investigate what's being floodlit.
I like this plan.
Yeah? So Marvin, who do you want to take with you in search of your mother? The other person in the uniform, the person in the hat, or the person who's not in uniform?
I'd like the I guess I'd like to bring Casper with me because we can probably talk the guards into letting my mother go when we find her.
Is that okay with Casper?
That makes
Okay.
sense.
So Casper and Marvin head off into the night, going from tent to tent, listening. Meanwhile, Bake and Chance, are you going to investigate what's being illuminated? Yeah?
Absolutely. I think possibly the way to do that sort of counterintuitively is to get on top of one of those spotlight towers.
Oh,
What do
fair
you think,
enough.
Bake?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. I mean, no daredevil is gonna consider not climbing a tower if there is one to be climbed.
As soon as that's suggested, my eyes light up.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So I think, Bake, it is going to be you at the front because you wouldn't let Chance climb it first. Are you both going up the same tower or different towers?
What do you think, Bake? Are you confident enough to... I punched the last Nazi. Do you want to punch this one?
Yes.
And I think
Out
that
of character, not a good idea, but let's see what happens.
once you get close to these towers, what you discover is that they're built and then they've got gantries running, across like so, illuminating the space below. Yeah.
Okay.
And that should allow you not just to get up, but to get across if you need to.
Nice.
Let's see. Who's the best talker between Marvin and the professor? Sadly, it is Marvin, but it is the professor who has the German. And so let's see. I think that this is. You tell me, Prof. Does your professor archetype work to your advantage here? Or are you just going to mesmerize the first German you come upon, the first Nazi you hit?
Golly.
Oh, Chance had something?
Yeah, sorry, I don't want to jump into the scene here, but I did want to make a suggestion. Professor mesmerizes Mr. Roy so that he temporarily can speak some German.
I love that. Or, yeah, if that'll work.
Of course it'll work. Go for it. So the professor background works. The two to take action. Head is another 3. Mesmerist is 8 dice. A willing subject, 2 successes. And suddenly Marvin starts speaking German. You reach in to his brain and you activate his German great-grandfather. That is so Dune.
So I got 3 successes, 1 oof.
Okay, well, it was harder than you thought because he speaks in a really kind of heavy regional German accent, from the late 1800s. But Marvin, you now speak German. It sounds like you've just stepped out of a, some kind of old film, but you are speaking German. Let's have you try to find out where they're keeping your mother. So this is absolutely, friend. This is your mother, for God's sake. This is 2 to take action. This is 2 for jaw, talking. I don't know how you can tie academic into it.
How would I tell you? I had well, I've been reading about the German government over the last few years. Things going very well, but I recognize the ranks on our uniforms, and I look for Nazis who are of lower rank.
Fine. So 7 dice. I'm looking for 3 successes. I don't think there's any point spending spark on that. That seems like a no-brainer.
Oh, we'll see.
Aha! Oh, wow.
Ooh. Well.
Oh, my God. So that didn't work. And you have taken 3 oofs as one of them says, I don't know you. You're no Feldwebel, Sergeant. And punches you, Marvin, and goes to raise the alarm. Take those 3 oof, unless, Casper, you can stop him raising the alarm. Because Marvin goes down in a heap.
Yes, I will definitely try to do an emergency mesmerism, if that's a thing.
Emergency mesmerism it is now. Okay, so that's 3, 6, 8 dice. I think I'm looking for 4 successes, though, because now this guy is, he's got to raise the alarm. So, and it is an emergency mesmerism, so 4 successes with 8 dice. Do you want to spend some spark?
I do. I will spend. I'll spend 2.
Ooh.
So that brings me.
I can assist if you want to.
Wow. So, are you going to distract the guy from the ground?
Yeah, I can probably crawl over and try to grab his ankle.
Fine. How much spark do you want to put in the pot?
We'll do 1. It seems like there's a fair number of dice.
Yeah. I've lost track of how many that gets, but it's a lot of dice.
That should be max now, 11.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yes! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
He'll even take you to her.
Yes. Sweet.
Meanwhile, Bake, let's have you negotiate this tower so we can get a view of what's going on underneath these floodlights. Because there's a pit dug. Yeah? So this sounds like agility. 3, take action. Certainly Daredevil. Jumping off might be air ace, but climbing up isn't. So 6 so far. I'm only looking for 3 because your disguise is perfect.
Yeah, no one could see through this.
No.
I got the hat.
You got the hat.
Yeah. Yeah, the hat's the first thing you'll see as I climb up. So.
Yes, just over the top there.
That's all I need.
Or do you want to spend some spark?
I'm gonna chuck one in.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna roll it.
Okay,
So
go.
That should be 6, I think. Ooh.
Oh no! Oh no! Where does that? How does that oof materialize? What do we see?
Oh, so I'm climbing up a ladder, right?
You are, and then
I think the wind blows my hat away.
Exactly, and the colonel standing at the top kicks you in the head.
Yeah.
Chance, you see Bake kind of hanging onto the ladder as he's kicked away, one hand. You're stuck behind him on the ladder unless you want to go round.
It's such a bad idea, but yes, I'm definitely going to go up and around.
Okay, so
And try
this is
him.
agility 1.
Yeah.
Take action. I think you've climbed up to hotel windows to take photographs before as a gumshoe, so I'm going to give you 2 for that. So that's 5 dice.
I will take
I
that.
am looking for 3 successes.
I do want to toss 1 spark in there.
Okay,
So we are at, I believe, 5 dice.
then we are.
Okay. Let's see how well this works.
Oh! I simply say, oh! Oh my goodness me. As you clamber up the other side, Hauptmann Guzman turns towards you and kicks you in the head as well. At which point we cut to the ground where Lieutenant Bodenstein and Feldwebel Roy are being led to the edge of the pit. And the soldier you mesmerized points down and says, you know, there she is. And there is your mother in some kind of robe, Marvin, some kind of esoteric robe. And there's another figure with her in a robe who is the one-eyed German. And there are 4 pillars, and chained to one of them is a sacrificial victim. And over them are 2 statues, one of a devil, one of an angel. And they are the victim is chained beneath the demon. And your mother appears to be making arcane movements. What do you do, Marvin?
She's trying to distract that one-eyed man so she can escape. I think we have to. I don't know. They'll probably sacrifice that other lady, and then my mom. We have to help. We have to help her.
Casper, what's your interpretation of what you're saying?
So remind me again, there's 4 pillars, and the lady is.
There is a victim chained to one of them, kind of like this, you know, beneath a statue of a demon. And on either side of the pillar is Mrs. Roy and the one-eyed German, and they are dressed in robes and they are making arcane passes.
I'm gonna ask the mesmerized German soldier to shoot, not to kill, but to wound the one-eyed.
Oh, brilliant! Yes, I think simply roll me 1 dice, right? And this will just tell me how effective that is. I'm not going to make you to roll to mesmerize him again. I just want to get some idea whether this is good or bad. Okay, it's okay. I think that he shoots and wounds the one-eyed German, who spins away, clutching his shoulder, and shrieks, "Ah!" And shouts, "Margareta, Margareta! Ah!"
Marvin, get your mom.
Yeah. Are there other soldiers around here, or is it just these folks right now?
It's just these. There are soldiers on the tower, but their attention seems to be drawn elsewhere.
Oh, that's lucky. Mom, Mama, Mom! And I wave my arms and I run down towards her, waving my arms. Mom, let's go this way.
Okay, and she looks back towards you, and there is a split second where she looks towards you and the victim looks up. And the woman in the robes peels away her face to reveal a disfigured red skull. And your mother looks up from where she is chained at the pillar. And the red skull draws a luger and points it at you.
I dive for cover.
Let's have you roll with your agility here. So this is feet. Take action. I don't think friend counts here, and I'm struggling to see you thinking through the academics. So I think this is 4 dice. I'm looking for 3 successes, or you're gonna, draw.
Okay.
Well, can I say something?
You can.
You did substitute for the gym teacher, dodgeball.
Oh, you did. You did.
did.
Add 2 dice. Well remembered, Professor Casper Bodenstein. And you could always spend spark,
I feel very my adrenaline is up. So I think I'm not thinking very clearly. I'm just it's all instinct. It's the dodgeball kicking in.
Oh, look at that. You do take a bit of a bruise on landing, but you do dodge the attack. Casper, all of this opens up before you. Bake, as you're hanging off the tower, you look down and you see all of this happening. And you can see that there are soldiers on each of the towers, and they're beginning to draw a bead down on Marvin. Chance, you see the same thing. Bake, what do you do?
I'll do something to knock the power out or something, right? Like, so that it all goes dark.
Oh, tools.
Yeah, using my tools.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've just got a tool on me or something, and I can just.
Well, that's fine. I think daredevilishly, you can see that there are hanging beneath these gantries the cables plugged together for the lights.
Yeah.
If you leapt at one of them,
Perfect.
Daredevil, take action. I think I don't know. Is this hands or feet? I think it's feet.
Good.
So because it's agility, so that's 6 dice.
Yeah.
You're in the air. 8 dice. You understand falling bodies. 8 dice. I'm looking for 4 successes, though. Do you want to spend any spark?
Ooh. I do, but I guess every one I roll will take that down.
Can I toss in a spark?
Right, by distracting Hauptmann Guzman.
Exactly.
Okay, and I'll chuck in one as well.
Okay.
So let's do that.
So is that what, about 10 dice, I think?
I don't know. I've lost. I counted as I
10
went,
dice.
So
10
I
dice.
got 5 and oof.
Oh, well, there you go. So
Did it.
You swing from this, the plug parts, you swing down, you hit one of the gantries, one of the towers with a oof.
Yeah.
But you drop to the ground safely after that. Or do you want to go up?
No, I'll drop to the ground. That's fine. Let's keep
Fine. Marvin, you've taken cover as the Red Skull turns towards your chained mother. Casper, what do you do?
So you were successful in cutting
The
out
lights
the
go out.
right?
All that is illuminated now is the glow that surrounds the Red Skull as she works her magic.
Wow. All right. I am going to try to mesmerize the one-eyed man to stop the Red Skull.
Oh, very cool.
Yes.
So in the intervening period, Casper has run down to where the one-eyed man is lying on the ground, and in a very un-Casper-like way, I think you grab him round the shirt and drag him up, and you let the eyes loose.
Right.
So I think this is professional background doing something. This is head. This is mesmerism. 8 dice. I'm looking for 4 successes because you want him to shoot the Red Skull, who is his commanding officer.
Right. You know what? Can I say that this was at a distance, since all I needed in my eyes?
Yeah.
And so that she won't be expecting him, and he doesn't have to kill her. He just has to push her, shove her,
Overcome her,
delay her.
subdue her, whatever. No, that's fine.
Cool. All right. All right. 1, 2, 3 successes, 2 oofs.
Take the oofs because it's distance. It's always difficult at distance. But he leaps to his feet and he tackles the Red Skull to the ground. Chance. Hauptmann Guzman is shouting at the top of, trying to get his troops to get ordered, but all he can see is the red skull and the one-eyed German in the glow of the magic that she has unleashed.
She's got magic. Ooh, okay, perfect. So she's got magic. The lights currently are off, right?
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to try and spin the spotlight around. I don't know if it's set up for this. We'll say it's set up for this. Spin the spotlight around so that it's shining directly at him and plug it back in.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I like that. So I think that is tools.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is take action.
Mm-hmm.
I'm struggling beyond that.
Yeah, I don't think I've got anything beyond that.
So I'm looking for, I think it's easier to plug it in than unplug it. I'm looking for 2 successes with 3 dice.
Okay.
Any spark anyone wants to throw in the pot. I think it's only Bake who could, because Marvin, I think, is fixated on his mother. I'm going to come to him in a moment. Bake, anything you can do.
I think because I'm on the ground, it's going to be tough.
You are. Now, I think I'm struggling here.
I don't know how I can
Chance.
influence things other than just shouting. That's about all I got.
Shout encouragement. I could use it right now.
Well, that would, yeah. I mean, I'll go for that. You can do it, Chance.
Excellent.
Okay, I'll add one in.
All right. I'm rolling with 4. Let's see what happens.
Oh, will you look at that? 3 successes, no oofs. Marvin, your mother is chained to this thing, and you would swear that demonic statue just moved.
Oh, geez. Okay, so I'm going to jump from cover and run down so that I'm sort of level at the bottom with everyone, and do a quick glance around the area. Do I see keys? Do I see a pickaxe? Do I see something? Do I think I can pull the chains out of the stone?
It's your mother, man. Of course you can pull the chains out of the stone.
All right. Okay, mother, I'm here. I'm here to help. I'm here to rescue you. And I grab.
The truth is that tools and hands are the same for you. So,
Yeah.
So brace yourself and pull. So that's 1, take action, friend. You understand levers.
Yeah. Yes.
6 dice. I'm looking for 3 successes.
I'm going to use a spark.
Of course you are.
So let me go down there.
I thought you might sacrifice more than 1 spark on your mother, but maybe I was wrong.
Oh, geez. Yeah. Of course I will. Of course I will. That's, I don't know. I just thought I only do 1, but I'm going to do 2.
And the demon's claws begin to come down.
Okay, get ready to run. I'm going to pull this free, and then we're going to run. We're going to run right away. This 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Was that 7? Was that? Did that get to 8? Was that 7? All right.
Oh, will you look at that? 5 successes, no oofs.
Nice.
Okay.
It doesn't, the pin doesn't come out. You tear the chains. The links part as the claw is coming down.
Yeah, and I grab my mom and I pull her out of the way.
And as the claw sweeps down and picks up the red skull, the magic is dispersed and the red skull is crushed as the claw turns back to stone. Cut to Captain Lovett's boat as it chugs into the sunrise. Marvin sits at the prow with his mother. Oh, Marvin, I never thought I'd see you again.
I'll always be there for you, Mom. Always.
roll credits. I would like, if you are up for it, to do a quick thing we could do on the called Stars and Wishes. This is an opportunity just to, if you've got, it'll take us probably slightly more than 7 minutes, but I'll go around each of you in turn to ask you if you want to give a star to something somebody else did, anything about the story, anything that you particularly enjoyed. And then I'll come back for any wishes about anything that you think, it would have been better if. Yeah. Now, Joe, I know you've done this before, so I'll start with you.
Okay.
Any stars?
Yes. Alan, really great job at integrating everything that we came up with into the story. I thought that was really, really good. Bake, yeah, Gareth, I love the way that you leaned into Bake and the daredevil and yep, is it risky? Then that's what I'm gonna do. Professor Bodenstein, I really didn't know where the character was going to go at first, but I liked the direction that you kept taking. It was really funny. I typed it in the chat. I had a moment where I realized, oh my God, Marvin is the protagonist of this movie. We are literally all his sidekicks. And that's totally from how you played him. So good job.
Yeah, no, I would go along with all of those. Let's move along. Jonah, any stars?
Yeah, I thought that it's going to sound like it's the same star for the three other players, that I thought that you guys just played your characters, and that there wasn't even I'm not that good at this, but I'm going to do it. It's there wasn't a lot of meta, trying to min max or anything. I thought that was really nice, and I agree with Joe, Alan. I thought that being able to take all the suggestions and put them in there as effectively as you did was a lot of fun.
Good. Well, it's easy to work with good stuff. Rod, what about you? Any stars?
Yes, absolutely. To everyone. I love that style of GMing where it's collaborative storytelling. That's my favorite type of role playing.
Welcome to the Gauntlet.
Awesome.
We are Gauntlet.
That was excellent. I really enjoyed that. I thought everyone played their character, and it was so distinct, and everyone complimented each other. For a wish, I wish we had more time.
Yes. Yeah. I'd like to see these characters some more as well. Absolutely. And finally, Gareth, any stars?
Obviously I echo what everyone else has said, and stars all around. It was a really enjoyable session. I think we all gelled together really quickly, and we're all helping each other have our moments and everything. So it was just really, really effective.
I'd like to star the team efforts here, folks. Yeah, I thought it was very generous play around the table.
Definitely, yeah. And I star what you said at the start, Alan, when you did the intro and everything, and you kind of said, if you don't have any ideas, we're not putting you on the spot, just ask everybody else, which is exactly how I like to play. But having you say that at the start really helped me to kind of loosen up and just kind of run with it.
Good. We are Gauntlet. I've had a wish from Rod. Let me go back to Joe. Any wishes?
Oh, there we go. Sorry, I couldn't tell whether I was muted or not. The only thing that I would have wished is if we could have put a little bit more of the greatest fears in there.
Yeah,
really didn't have that much of an opportunity, but yeah, it's a minor wish, really.
Yeah, in this hack, the greatest fears are the things that I'm least happy with. Because it's just, particularly the one shot, because there's just not quite enough time for that to give them space to breathe. But no, it's a fair criticism. What about Jonah? Any wishes?
I think it's it was Rod said earlier about the time, and I think the way that sort of manifested here was sort of rushing through Act 3. Where everything else felt about right, and then you want 10 extra minutes to play out a couple moments at the end, but that's that's a convention time slot.
Yeah, you're right. And I sometimes wonder, in my own wish sometimes is that I sometimes feel I give the opening scenes too much time, and then I pay for that at the end. Yeah, every time I do it, I think about it, but I never do it differently.
Yeah.
Gareth, any wishes?
No, I think everyone. I just agree with everybody else's. Everyone's taken all my wishes, and I got nothing left to say.
That's fine. That's fine. My wish is I would love to see these characters spend some more time together because it's interesting. But I do want to pick out a couple of stars. I think yes, Gareth, you played the character. Heart won.
Yeah.
Now I'll hang on to that spark right now. It's okay. I think I might need that down the road. Joe, I wish I could have given more gumshoeiness. But life's a bitch, then you die.
Fair.
But I loved the fact that in that opening scene, I lean out of the door and try to help Marvin stay on the stay on the hood. I love that. I love that. And Jonah, the way you played Marvin, I didn't know he's going to be the protagonist until the end, and then happily, Rod handed me his mother as a villain, and that was just worth its weight in gold. But absolutely spot on as the concerned son, all the way through, spot on. And Rod, I just want to say, I tried to put you in a position at the end there, unwittingly, I think, where I thought that you would be more aggressive to the one-eyed German, but you played to Casper. You didn't just follow me into that kind of. Really good, really good. Okay, folks, thank you for that. I had a great time. I do hope that we might see you again on the Gauntlet. What I'll do is I'll give you 24 hours to think about it. If anyone wouldn't like this to be put up on YouTube, just drop me a message in the chat, okay? And I'll also put in the chat that reminder about if you want me to pass your email addresses on to our admin to add you to the Gauntlet Slack. It's there if you want it, okay? But I'll put that in the chat. I won't put you on the spot now. But it's been an absolute pleasure, guys. I hope to play with you again soon. All the best.
Thank you all. This
Thanks,
was